Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by the party prince himself, party boy Pete McCormick, N-Dub's favorite son, stunning Steve Cabot, and our special guest today is the indomitable Tommy Romeo. You can find us on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can join us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast and hang out with us on the Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show and go through the approval process with the PAAA, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com. Party boy Pete, are you ready to get this thing started?
I'm ready to light the fires and kick the tires, Big Daddy. Let's get going.
I love it. N-Dub's favorite son, Schwap Game Steve Cabot. How you feeling, my man?
We out here ready to rock.
Love it. All right, let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's all objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our line and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. We'll just share it. We'll just share it. We'll just share it. Working perspectives.
All right, so real quick, I just want to say to all the listeners out there, you know what's going down. October 2nd is the showdown of the millennium. I will be winning the rights to the show back via Mario Kart at Graham's Pub, the land of the free, home of the brave. I will be beating a pirating bastard, and I'll take my show back by force if needed. All right? But I want to kick it over to our good friend, N-Dub's favorite son, Schwap Game Steve Cabot, to give us a little background on the indomitable Tommy Romeo. Schwap Game, let me hear it, baby.
So I've known this guy a little bit. He grew up in my neighborhood. His older brother happens to be one of my closest friends, and I met his brother in first grade. So known this family a long time, right?
Yeah.
He, like normal N-Dub guy, he's very athletic, done some great athletic things, but he happens to also be a handsome motherfucker, right?
Sure is.
Never fun, but, you know, it's good to have friends like that because they attract broads, right?
Yeah, testify.
So as we move forward, we go to high school years. He's 2 years behind me. I'm a senior in high school. He's a sophomore at North Penn, where we attended. It's only 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So no freshman, right?
No.
So as a sophomore, you are a freshman.
Yep.
So he's in there, and, of course, he's part of our crew. We're, the same old regular. Yeah. One day I happened to be out with a couple other guys from the rich outlying neighborhoods from where we grew up.
Right.
And these fellers were out there talking about how this one kid that we knew pretty well and we're cordial with, he's complaining about how because another very good looking guy, how his extremely hot 10th grade girlfriend is obsessed with some kid, some 10th grader, this, that, the other thing. Right. And I'm like, oh yeah, how about that? Like, you're knowing that these kids also grew up like pussies and will do nothing about it but complain. At those days. So I'm like, okay, who is this guy? What are we talking about? Blah, blah, blah. I'm laughing, making fun of him. He goes, I don't know. I've never heard Tommy something. Then he tells me it's Tommy Romeo.
Ooh.
And asks me if that's Jay's brother and do I know him? Of course.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, well, my girlfriend's obsessed with him, and that's not good. And I'm like, yeah, it's a problem for you.
Yeah.
Not for him or anyone else. So we're fine, right? Go to find out a little bit later who this girl is. Of course, it's some super hot chick that there was a legendary class in between his grade and my grade, but a girl who was legendarily hot, obsessed with him. And that's the type of guy we're dealing with. So do I kind of resent it sometimes? I do.
We all do.
I wish I could be that good looking and just have chicks come approach me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't.
Same. No.
Other than that, he's a great human being, done a bunch of good stuff, good jobs, been through some shit. So you're going to get a good, exciting episode out of this one.
Yeah. Nice.
So my next question is, Thomas, have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody? And do you like that shitty ass movie?
I have not seen it. ever.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Don't even know what it is. Isn't that a song?
It's
It
so
is.
it's a
It
great
It's just
song.
a topic of the greatest singer in the 20th century, Thomas. That's all it is. Freddie Mercury, the Golden Pipes himself.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. He
Look.
was quite the pipe taker.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Love
Sounds
some
like-
pipe.
Sounds like a musical, but it's a famous song, right?
So you're Tom, you are absolutely correct. It's a famous, fantastic song which we all love. Then they
And
made
then
a
it became
movie,
an almost
and they
even
insul-
better movie.
no, then they insulted the name of that great song by naming a shitty movie after it. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I watch sports and good movies, so haven't
Yeah.
seen that one yet, man.
Yeah.
Thomas, you'll know Bohemian Rhapsody because it's the song that made what's it called? Famous Wayne's World. Like
Me
that's
Alive.
the way they
Yes.
rock out to. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you haven't heard Bohemian Rhapsody by
Give
now,
me a
definitely heard
line.
it.
Come on. Give me a line.
thunderbolts of lightning, very,
Oh,
very
yeah,
bright
absolutely.
lightning.
Galileo. Yeah, that's all you have
Hell
to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys hate, Thomas. That's what they hate.
No, we don't
No.
hate that song.
No.
No, we hate the fucking movie that
Oh, now
song.
we have nuance on this show. Great to find out. Now today we have nuance.
Oh, yeah.
Tell him, Pete.
I'll nuance. Yeah, you're a new one. So
Wait a
all
minute.
right. Yeah. So Thomas, thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for coming on the show. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Doing great. A little hot out there today for
Yeah.
anybody that was outside. So
Yeah.
Hell
we
yeah.
were outside working. Came indoors, worked on the computer a little bit, and here to chop it up with you guys for the
Must
night.
be nice to have that Dago Italian skin where you're all tanned up.
Oh yeah, look at him.
looking
He hits the
good.
sun.
You don't
This
get
motherfucker-
sunburn, do you?
You know what? I actually don't. We were out on a
Fucking
boat
fuck you.
last
Fuck
Monday
you.
on Memorial Day. We took a boat out. We're not going to go through that whole debacle. But long story short, we were on the water, so that's all. that
What's
counts.
the name of the boat? GTL, Gym Tan Laundry?
That's right. Close enough. No, it was actually the 166 Phantom from
That's right.
1989.
Wow.
Spit it,
All
spit it,
right.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Let 'em
Even
know.
Better. Shout
That
out
thing
to the
rocks.
166 Phantom.
Yeah,
Hell
that thing
yeah.
rocks pretty good on the waves there, man. But no, man, excited to be here. Listen to
Yeah.
a couple of your guys' podcasts. So
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
Thomas. Don't let Thomas lie to you. He was in the same sun I was. Not the same shade.
No.
Not the same shade.
No.
I got a little Heinz ketchup-ish. He
Right.
got very Italian.
Yeah,
But just
he's
to,
almost caramel, I would say.
you know what's funny? We actually have a picture. It's me, so I'm the middle of three boys, older brother, younger brother. So we have
Yep.
a picture, famous picture, been sitting on my parents' one of the little end tables next to the couch forever.
Yeah.
And it's me and it's both my brothers. We're in New Jersey. We're at my cousin's. We have our shirts off outside in the pool, and we're
course.
standing on like the A-frame, the side of a. all three of us standing on the A-frame, the side of a big swing set, and I
Yeah.
look like I don't look like I'm
Thomas,
part of the
what
family.
What did I say you were when I saw that picture? What did I say? I tell you,
Probably-
he put it out in the group, and I texted, well, I didn't know Thomas was Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
apparently
Yep.
Jay and Anthony are not the same people as him.
Yep.
I actually have a cousin that's half Irish and half Dominican. And when we were kids, we would go to the beach or the lake, and he would get so tan that some people wouldn't let their kids play with him because they thought he was, like not white.
Uh-oh.
Yo!
I don't know if that flies in today's
Yeah.
world.
Yeah,
Pete.
yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah,
What
this was like
lake
late
was
'80s,
this?
early '90s, Northeast Philadelphia.
Hell
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
the,
Sure.
But
I
just
mean-
to wrap up that boating trip last Monday on Memorial
Yeah,
Day, we were outside, so definitely got some sun. But
Sure.
I don't know if anybody remembers last week. That was the only sunny day, Tuesday through Friday,
Yep.
kind of
Yeah.
overcast and dark. So went to a very good friend's wedding Friday, and you know how girls like to look all tan for the wedding, all that good
Dude,
stuff.
don't I know it?
Well, everybody's asking me, Tom, why are you so tan? Do you go tan? He straight up did not believe me that was from one day on Monday and then no sun the rest of the week. So,
You lucky bastard.
but anyway,
And just a quick shout out, that's Thomas's birthday on the 30th just passed. He's
Oh,
same-
happy belated birthday.
So ready-
We're not dating the episode, but good
ready,
job,
ready,
man. Happy
re-
birthday.
yeah, but ready for this though, Matty? He's
What do you
born on the exact same day as my only brother, and also one of our good friends who grew up, Dave Broderick. He's on that day,
Well,
and so is his cousin Tommy's cousin. So 4 people, including my brother, Jay's brother, and Tommy, all born
Jesus.
on May 30th.
Jesus.
Shout out to May
Christ.
30th.
Yeah, May 30th doing some work.
That's the
End
date,
of day.
cuz.
End of day.
yep.
Yeah.
I know,
man.
Speaking of that, real quick, Matt, I know you know our buddy Justin pretty well. So
Love it. Hey, shout out J-Dub, Justin Richardson, love you.
Oh yeah, J-Dub, cool dude.
So J-Dub's birthday is May 29th. So he's a year and a day older than me. I don't know if it was coming into the school system or they held him back, either or. But long story short, me and him celebrated many a birthdays together, being the 29th and 30th, and we're best friends. So.
Dude, I'll tell you what.
Many birthday trips with him. I think our best one was down to Charleston, South Carolina. Awesome trip, but
yeah.
Yep,
Does he? So let's not get. I mean, we won't talk about that too much, But J-Dub is the fucking best. Love that dude. He's got a podcast coming out too. I forget the name of it, but once I remember, we'll shout it out and have a link in the description. Yeah. So nice. All right. Well, Tom, thanks for coming on, man. Great story. Great start. So let's get this thing going. We're going to go into our number one segment called Memory Lane.
Where do these bizarre memories come from?
So in English, if you say this is lame, when you're describing something, what you are saying is that it's not cool, it's not awesome, it's not interesting.
So on Memory Lane, we're going to bring up a topic from the 90s. We're going to discuss, deliberate, and decide. Then we're going to vote to see if it's still totally awesome, tubular radical bro, or if it's lame city. So Thomas, being that you're the guest, what is the Memory Lane topic that you have brought for us?
Okay, just something from the 90s, anything, huh?
Yeah, so i.e. like Goosebumps was one. I remember Huggies was one. Blockbuster Video.
Let's go with
I came with the roller racer.
Yeah.
Pogs. We'll start with that.
All right.
All right.
Pogs is good. Sadly, been on the show before.
Okay.
That
what
annoys
else you
me.
got? Yeah.
Corny ass.
What else from the 90s?
Yeah.
What do you know about meeting up with all your friends before school and playing some football before school?
Ooh, okay.
Elementary school battleground
on blacktop.
This is what I like. So we, former guest of the show, friend of the show, Rick Outland, had a similar kind of story where his memory lane thing was that he used to load up his wiffle ball bats with like newspaper and all that kind of stuff to play like loaded bat wiffle ball at school, before school and during recess, right? Pete would then load up his wiffle ball bats with rocks and sand, and he still uses it to this day to kill ducks out back of his house.
That's right.
Yeah.
Legit technique. Technique.
It's probably the best technique going. So
Respect it, Pete. I respect it.
That's
So,
right.
I will say this, right? Now, how old were you when you stopped playing football in the street on the blacktop?
We still do that, man.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll never end.
Yeah, we
That'll
out
never
here.
end.
Well, okay, but was it tackle or is it touch?
It was rough touch, if you didn't like somebody too much.
Or
but
1,
really
2,
just,
3 hold.
Yeah, just two-hand touch. Elementary school, so. But real quick, another trend from the 90s, just because I got the before school vibe going. This was kind of a before and after school. So
Come with it, Thomas.
We would ride our bikes to school, and everybody loves trash day, right? Everybody's trash cans filled.
Yeah.
The aluminum sounds pretty loud. So long story short, we would assign point values to trash cans. The big BFIs were like 50. The little aluminum cans was like 100. If it was filled with cans, it was $1.50. And we would ride by, short ride, 4 or 5 blocks from the elementary school home. But we would add up all our points, and we would kick over trash cans and recycling bins on the way home. Man.
Dude, how many times?
Did Chris Tucker and Ice Cube ever chase you down the street, like get you like this?
Absolutely happened, Pete.
But we had a famous, let's just say Indian neighbor guy in the neighborhood. He was of Indian descent, very nice family. Would give out the ritual orange and black things at Halloween. But long story short. This gentleman chased us around the neyborhood once. He knew who kicked over his trash can and recycling.
Was not having it from you punks.
So we made it a few blocks up the way. Let's just say I witnessed what happened. But a good friend of mine actually hid underneath the car. And the nice Indian fellow saw him hide and roll underneath the car. So he very, very nicely pulled up next to that car and started yelling at my friend underneath the car. Of course, the friend just rolled out the other side and sprinted and was gone. But
Hit an
about-
alleyway.
I've seen the movie Sleepers many times, and you got off light because it kind of got a lot worse.
Yeah.
I guess
Yep.
just overall, you could put vandalism in the 90s. We don't do it anymore.
Sure
Just
don't.
kind of vandalize.
It was a North Wales pastime.
So did you
It
guys
gave you
ever-
that rush. Once you did something,
Oh.
you had to run the other way,
Dude.
and it was just an adrenaline rush.
Like
He gone.
Mischief Night became like more like
My
you-
birthday?
Yeah, you look forward. Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's Steve's birthday. Go figure, right?
Jesus,
Fuck outta
that
here.
makes so much sense. That
Right.
makes
Fuck
so
outta
much
here.
sense. Wow,
Yeah, right.
that makes all the sense in the world now.
All right,
They
well,
were in the
here's the thing.
hospital. Lightning strikes 3 times. The
Here's
curtain
the
gets
thing.
blown back
Are
by the
you-
wind.
Yeah,
At
someone
this point-
burns
at this
dog
point in my
shit
life-
in the room.
At this
Steve
point, my
comes
life
out
is
and
worn
immediately
out.
pisses in the doctor's face as he's being born.
Yeah,
It's got me worn out at this point with this shit. You're the 4 billionth people that have gone. The second they find out that, they go, "Oh, well, I get it." I'm like, "Fuck you." It has nothing to do with anything.
yeah, nice.
But
So
I
apparently
mean,
it
Steve,
does.
that would be like finding out that Liberace was born on the day the rainbow was invented. You're just like, oh, of course this makes sense.
So just to add to it real quick, just because I'm on a before school or after school thing here. Before school as well, also trash day. We had a very, very good friend whose
Hell yeah.
family worked for a chocolate company. I believe it was Hershey or maybe another.
Hershey. Yep.
Long story short, this gentleman's BFI big trash can was filled with king size, Baby Ruth, Butterfinger, Crunch Bar.
that they were thrown away.
You name it, they had it. So they would throw it away. So, we would very
arrested.
stealthily go up there every single Monday or Thursday on trash day.
Right.
Just simply wheel his BFI to the neighbors behind the big pine trees. Just knock it over, fill up our school bags, and then sell those,
Slanging them in elementary
sizes
school.
for 50 cents a pop, where you had to go
Little
to,
fucking hustle there.
Yep. So we were an
Yep,
entrepreneur from day one, man.
Yeah,
I
look
like
at
how
this
you had
fucking
to like
dude.
steal it from the trash can. I remember like one time I had a neighbor that was like, "Hey, we caught someone stealing out of your trash can." I'm like, "It's the fucking trash can. He can take whatever he wants. Like, I'm going to bring the sludge back." Like,
Right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, too. If this is any good preamble to Thomas's job experience, like he just showed, was already a young entrepreneur at a young age, ready to
right.
work.
Yeah, you
he
gotta
was like
start
Randy
somewhere.
in The Wire, like had
Yeah.
President Lucy
Yeah.
guy,
But he wasn't. He
candy
wasn't.
bars,
No
he's ready to
snitch
go.
bitch. Randy.
And again-
Randy ended up being a snitch bitch. We're just saying,
All right, season
Yeah.
4, Randy, not season
Yeah.
5, Randy. We're only
Okay,
only on season
Okay.
4.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's right.
And again, just to shout out his old man, Mr. Old Head Wavy Davy Romeo. He was the hardest worker I've ever seen. So Thomas learned from the best how to work.
Good. Shout out then. I love hearing that. I love when we get to say like that parents of like blue collar kids, so we're not a
yeah.
bunch of fuck off stunads, you know what I mean?
His old man worked harder than anybody I remember. He's just a
Dude.
beast. So
Good. Glad to hear. That's the way it should be. So nice. Shout out to Vandalism and Mischief Night. So in Lansdale, land of the free, home of the brave, we used to do this thing
Sissies.
we called it shucking corn, right? So there was this old guy that lived across the street from a friend of mine, and and this dude was like really old. So you know how in twins, right, in a twin house, right, you have like the front porch that does like a wraparound, right? And then your front door, it's like a step down from your front door to step onto the porch, right?
Mhm.
So this guy was like really old, right? And he would step down, but like if you like when we would like play like ding dong ditch on his house, he would like come out of his house really fast, even though he's really old. So you know how they have like the corn stalks around like Thanksgiving and Halloween? We took a bunch of the corn stalks and we like shucked off the corn on the corn stalks in like a bag, right? Then we threw a ton of them on this guy's porch, right? And we did the ding dong ditch and ran, and he came flying out, bro. Like I thought we were gonna have to call the hospital because this guy fucking nailed his ass when he came flying out of the house.
Oh.
He opens the door, comes out like you fucking, and he flies out, and all of a sudden it's like, and then you don't hear anything. He's just like, oh no, and we're like, and we just left. So that was the last time.
Moral of the story, kids are terrible. Kids
No.
are fucking terrible.
They're the worst.
If you hear a knock at your door after
Don't
7 o'clock
answer.
at night, just stay inside. You didn't order a pizza. You know it's not for you.
Dude, have you ever heard
Yep.
the Sebastian Maniscalco gimmick that he says? He's
No.
like, before you there used to be a thing like when you would have company, like when people would drop by randomly, right? Like back in the day, it was like a thing. You know, like you had like special
Hell yeah.
silverware and teacups.
Yeah, hell
for
yeah.
them. Like it was like a whole thing. Now if someone drops by randomly, you're like, who the fuck is this creep trying to come to my fucking house? You know?
Didn't text me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. No call before. Who rings the doorbell anymore?
Yeah, right.
You know.
So
All
ding
right.
dong
Look, there's
dicks, huh?
AshleyMadison.com now. You know, if you want to have your affairs, you can do it outside of the house and don't
Yeah.
involve
Hell
your
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Pete's right.
So the real quick good ding dong ditch story. I know we've all seen Billy Madison. I know
Of course.
we've all seen the
Of
flaming
course.
bag of poop he
He
lights
called
on
the
fire.
shit poop.
Of course, we had to try it.
Yeah,
So
of
one
course.
night it was me,
Sure did.
two other good friends. We'll leave names out, but long
Right.
story short, about 2 blocks up the street, same street I live on. Had already ding dong ditched a couple of houses that night, so you always save the best for last.
Right.
It's a good friend of mine, nice big
don't give a
Rottweiler, couple big steamy poops thrown in a bag.
Woo!
So we go up the street.
The biggest Rottweiler.
Good.
Biggest.
Yep,
Jesus Christ. These things are the size of your fucking forearm.
Yes,
right.
way bigger than human doo-doo.
So good friend goes up to the door, puts the brown paper bag, looks like a little brown paper bag. We would, if you were packed your lunch, that's the bag we used.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy and pretty smelly. So he put
Yeah.
it down.
Hell yeah.
So he makes the mistake of knocking, of ringing first before he lights it.
Oh, shit.
Now he's going to light it, and he rings, ding, 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 ding. House pitch dark, by the way. All of a sudden, the outside light comes on. Not sure if it was a sensor. The old man turned it on. So here's me across the street with the camera just filming. Long story short, he's having trouble lighting a bag of poop, right? And all of a sudden, the bag of poop. Looking back, we probably should have sprayed it with WD-40 or something, right?
Hell yeah.
Right.
Hey, it was
Get
a
that
human
joint
night.
popping.
You know what I mean? What can you do?
Yeah.
Your palms are sweaty when you're holding it. It's a whole thing.
Yep,
You're
yep.
11. You're 11.
So on goes the light. Finally, the bag starts flaming, and it's going up, man. Like those brown paper bags going quick.
Hell
Man.
yeah.
It looked like a damn
Hell
box
yeah.
of tissues he lit.
Yeah.
And immediately you hear somebody screaming. Now it wasn't the word for word. It's poop. It wasn't that, but it was pretty damn entertaining, man. So that's it. So old man, calls the 911 or the fire department immediately. Again, this is 2 blocks up from my house, and we're all pretty fast. So here we go. As soon as old man comes out, he starts yelling. Of course, we run across the yard and down the street. I'm already across the yard. I waited for my buddy to catch up. As we're running down, we get past the first block. As we're hitting the second block, the street I live on, up comes the blue Volkswagen, another good friend that lives in the neighborhood that we know works for the fire department. So here he comes up the street, this little blue Volkswagen, little blue light going. Yep.
Whipping.
So there you go, man. Flaming bag of shit. Firefighters up the street, all in 60 seconds. So that's
Dude.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
my
I
ding
would
dong ditch
love
story.
doing whatever
Oh,
he
yeah.
says.
Hell yeah.
I would just love to see that. That would be, it had to be You must have been pissing yourself. Like,
it was absolutely amazing.
dude, the rush of vandalism, it's a real thing. You know what I'm
unbelievable.
saying?
It's unbelievable.
You could take probably everything we just talked about and just throw it under the category adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it's different
I'll-
when you're younger, right?
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
be honest. I will always tell kids, don't do drugs, but I won't tell kids, don't try vandalism once.
Yeah. Just don't
I'm
vandalize.
live.
not the one that tells kids, listen to the podcast, do not do vandalism once.
Yeah,
just once.
Don't come near my fucking house. I don't
It's
care.
all fun and games until you try and get an apartment and you have 30 felonies for mail being scattered throughout the neighborhood.
Moral of
Yeah.
the story, don't listen to me.
Yeah.
My rule
yeah.
was whether it's drugs or vandalism, same thing, advice that was told to me by a wise man one day, man. Just do everything in moderation, then kind of figure it out for yourself. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
dabble
All
a little
things are
bit,
good
and
in
if it's for
moderation.
you, keep at it.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nice. All right.
That's
well,
right.
we've deliberated enough. So the topic was, we'll just say vandalism and before school activities. So, Thomas, you brought this up. So vandalism and before school activities, is it rad or is it lame?
We're talking now or then.
Now.
Now it's lame, man. It's not good to destruct other people's property and do stuff that people
Yeah.
work hard for. But back then as a kid, totally fucking right.
What's the fucking rad? Stu Baines. What are you voting? Rad or
I'm
lame?
going rad for both. Rad for not vandalism as in other people's property, but I have
Sure.
say, I don't know, abandoned car in the back of my shop. And, one day I might want to walk out and throw a fucking rotor through it. And
Right.
that would make me feel good. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why. I'm
Destruction is there is a thing I saw, like there's a type of therapy now where it's called destruction therapy. where,
Yeah,
like,
go into a room and fuck shit up.
Yeah, or like someone will buy like a bunch of fruit, like watermelons and cantaloupes, and you get to take like a sledgehammer or a bat to that shit.
Joe's Gallagher on them.
Because like we all know, like punching a bag and stuff, that is somewhat
therapeutic.
Of a yeah, very much so. But like, I would fucking love to be able to like crack a car windshield, right?
Yeah, hell
like,
yeah.
How fucking great would that be? I'd be in the best mood after that.
Oh yeah, agreed. And then for because I have the personal experience of him with the after or before school activities, it was popping at N-Dub in the morning. Yeah. Not only for that football on the pavement, but there was also, we had this enclosed 3 little way wall, and we would play obviously wall ball with it, right?
Right.
And if someone got caught with wall ball and fucked up and had to go against the wall for suey, we had the old head trick where you kept the racket balls on deck. Ooh. So instead of a tennis ball, you think it's a tennis ball, you're prepared, and you get racket balled. Yeah, well, you know, it was a pop-in time, and it would still be fun to play right now. So I'm going rad on both.
I would love to see like a fucking little professional wall ball gimmick going.
Shit is serious, cuz.
That shit's not playing.
No, that's hard.
Yeah,
stepping up the handball.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Nice. All right, Peter Hosen, your thoughts on vandalism and before school activities, i.e., playing football and stuff like that?
Don't be a pussy, Pete.
Rad or lame?
All right, so for football before school, it depends, right? If it's tackle football, when I was in 6th grade, I was unstoppable in tackle football.
You were also 6'4".
I was this size, yeah, exactly. But if it was 2-hand touch, I was getting called by everyone.
Fucking hated
that's
it.
where I
hated
it.
Makes sense.
You're one of them athletic big dudes, too. We didn't like playing with the athletic big dudes.
No one did.
Yeah. Nope. As the residential fat kid, I got to let everybody know that when they do their hijinks with a ding-dong ditch, the fat kid is the one that gets caught. All these real fast guys getting out of there, I'm the one that's like a block behind. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You're going to get caught. These guys are getting away.
Hell yeah, Pete. Well, Pete, if it makes you feel better, you were also the guy who would, when we played in the neighborhood, say rumble, fumble, or killed a man with the ball. You was dominating.
That's where I was
shined. You were putting kids
football,
down.
Yeah, 6th grade was like the epitome of sports for me because no one could tackle me. Yeah, and in basketball, I could just keep rebounding and shooting again. And then in 7th grade, kids learned how to jump, and I lost my superpower. And then it was just wrestling and lineman for me.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, my vote, I'm going to say that vandalism back then, rad, now lame, and football always will be rad. So, okay. So that was another rousing segment of Memory Lane. For all those listeners, if you want to send in some Memory Lane suggestions, just hit us up on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast and on the Twitter at Working P Pod. All right. So let's keep this moving. So our guest today, Tommy Young Bull Romeo. He was born in North Bend Hospital and grew up in North Wales, a.k.a. N-Dub. He went to
a.k.a. Tamil.
A.k.a. N-Dub Tamil, I guess. So either way, went to public school K through 12, got an engineering degree from ITT Tech. He played soccer at a young age from ages 6 to 12. Played football from the age of 12 till he was a senior in high school. Last official football game was the state championship game as a senior. He played baseball from ages 9 to 11, did a little track in middle school, ran the 75-meter and the 4x100-meter relay. All right, but I want to get this thing started. So you said, Tommy, you played some soccer early on. What was your thoughts on playing soccer? Because I will say this. I played soccer as a young kid, too. And when I was growing up in when I was growing up in California, I was the goalie, in case you were wondering. But yeah,
all right.
But no, and when I was in California, soccer is like the number one thing. Everyone loved it. But then when I came here, right, football is king. So if you played soccer, you were considered like a fucking stunad. So
a pussy.
Yeah. So what was your thoughts on playing soccer and all that? Also, soccer kids are like the worst. So just kidding. I was just jealous because of how athletic they are. But all right, Tommy, what are your thoughts on playing soccer as a kid? Because you played for like Mustangs and everything, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mustang.
First for you, Matt. A favorite movie of yours, The Big Green?
Yo,
not gonna lie, don't hate it.
I agree.
One of the best parts of the movie is when the teacher calls the Mexican kid Juan, So that was just great.
I just remember the name of it. But anyway, yeah, man.
That has the catcher from Sandlot, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
Hamilton Porter is his name.
Hell
That's right.
Hamilton, the
Shout out
Porter.
Hamilton Porter.
Come on,
Legend.
man.
Legend.
So yeah, soccer, man. What did I think of soccer? I absolutely loved it at a young age, man. For myself, honestly, feel like it was kind of the foundation for my speed. Gets your heart pumping, man. Gets your cardio up a lot.
Yeah.
I was pretty good too, man. I was,
because you're very fast.
You're
probably the best
Italian.
person on my team every single year. I used to play with the kids a year or two older than me. I played striker. So for anybody that doesn't know that, that's kind of center forward. That's the one that scores the goals.
It's the fastest guy on the team.
Yep.
Honestly, Tommy, looking at you, had you stuck with soccer, you're the American Ronaldo. You know this, right? Like they're just, like women would just get lost in your eyes. You know what I'm
And
saying?
then you hit him with the soccer thing for some reason, bro.
So we did
soft soccer
They
boys.
love it.
And I heard Steve just soft soccer, man. I was very, very physical. I once started a fight with adults and kids at an indoor soccer tournament.
That's right.
Fist flying at
Woodhaven?
adults. No, this was actually down in the city, man. Believe it or not, I forget exactly where, but I do know it was the day after Biggie Smalls died. I remember driving there
96.
with my dad in his red minivan
94.
and hearing how Biggie had passed the night before as I'm in the back kicking the ball against the side of his van. As we're driving to the tournament, but
He's old.
just to sum up soccer, man, I loved it.
So Tommy, also in Europe, they actually say rugby is a ruffian sport played by gentlemen, and soccer is a gentleman sport played by ruffians.
Ooh.
Okay.
So you're a ruffian playing a gentleman's sport, I would say.
Yeah.
So So let's fast forward to I think I played till I was about 13 years old, around middle school, and did the T-shirt league growing up, did the travel leagues growing up. Never played for school for some reason. I was kind of against school. Wasn't against school sports, but just the travel team took up a lot of time. So long story short, older brother was a little more physical, right? Wrestled, played football, American football. Swam a little bit. So, there's he used to get on me a lot. Not just him, maybe Steve, maybe some others.
And when he says physical, his brother is a goddamn baby bear. Don't get it wrong. Tommy's fast and more athletic, but Jay is a goddamn bear. So he had a tank as an older brother.
Yeah, never had anything physically on him. To this day, still don't.
He's
I'll always maintain I'm a step quicker. Doesn't matter the distance, but
Jay would
we'll
argue.
leave it at that. Yep, we'll leave it at that. And so, long story short, here comes older brother Tom. You're a pussy. Only pussies play soccer. Only
That's
women
right,
play
Jay.
soccer. Girls play
Shout out
soccer.
Jay.
So I most what my older brother said, I kind of took to the bank, right?
Sure.
So what did I do?
We all did.
Within a week or two,
Yeah.
I called my soccer coach and quit. I said,
See ya.
Mr. Zamora,
I'm not a pussy anymore. Yeah.
So guess what? Yeah, exactly. So
My
guess
brother
what?
learned how to swim. I can't hide from him in the pool anymore. I got to play now.
Hell yeah.
So guess who knocks on my door about a half hour later as I'm eating dinner with my family?
Oh.
Coach.
Soccer coach. Yep.
No.
He lived a couple blocks down the way.
He saw talent.
Yeah.
He's
He
like,
used
look,
to call
we're
me.
gonna ride this Ronaldo thing out.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yo, come on, buddy.
He used to go, Tommy, our little Brazilian player, Tommy. Yep.
Hell yeah. This was also Puerto Rican Tommy, where he was 18 shades of tan. So this guy was probably like, oh yeah, this kid.
Now, mind you, I used to have a rat tail growing up, right?
Oh, Jesus.
So let's
You
get
should
it,
have
right?
brought that up from
So I
memory
have
lane.
picture after picture after picture of me running, and every damn picture you just see a rat tail flailing in the background, man.
Hell
That
yeah,
bitch
the
was
flow.
like a foot long.
You were
The
basically
flow.
the coolest kid ever.
Yep.
Dude, we got ding dong ditch. We got rat tails going on. We got older brothers abusing them. This is
Hell
a heck
yeah.
of a story.
So that
Out
ended
here.
that ended the soccer career, and we switched to American football overnight, man.
So, Tommy, I do want to ask this. Being that I'm a middle brother as well, so there's 4 kids in my family. My sister's the oldest, and there's 3 boys.
Mhm.
And I have an older brother, asshole, and then I have a younger brother, the little shit. So
Shout
I'm
out,
the middle. Shout out, asshole. So I'm the middle brother, right? But as someone who has beaten their older brother at something, i.e. Mario Kart, is there anything better than beating your older sibling at something? There's
Nothing.
That
there's
is a very
really few
satisfying
things
feeling.
that
It is.
Yeah.
Now,
There-
Matt,
it
you
is.
followed up by beating your older sibling in something competitive. What normally happened to you?
if I did win, it wasn't a good situation.
No,
Yeah,
me neither.
so then it's time.
Physically,
Me neither.
Yeah.
So then it's time to defend yourself once you beat your older brother.
You win mentally, then defend yourself physically.
Every victory came at a great cost.
It did.
Celebration came the day after with your friends.
You're out of this. You're out of this. You didn't get beat up by your older brother.
I have no
say
older
this.
brother.
My little brother never beat me at a motherfucking thing in his life, and he never fucking will. So
I will give one shout out to my little brother, because when I was growing up, I think I was like
you did the abusing.
My brother was 5, and there was a kid in the neighborhood that was bigger than me and could beat me up. And one day he was beating me up, and my little brother came up and hit him in the head with a brick and just yelled, "Run!" So shout out to little brothers.
Shout out
the
Jimmy.
Lookout.
All right, way to go.
So just to wrap up, beating older brothers and feeling satisfaction. So I'm going to rewind 1997 NBA Live. I was the Celtics that game.
He already knows. This is how much little brothers ride with their victories. But I still have the same type of vivid memories.
Let's just say Paul Pierce was on fire in that game, right?
Hell yeah.
Older brother was not happy when younger brother's just draining threes because that's not real basketball, right?
Nope.
But that's
a video game.
Yeah, whatever puts W on the board, we go.
Fucking bullshit. This fucking, I fucking beat you. This fucking game's bullshit.
Yep.
But reverse roles, it's like, dude, you suck.
Yeah.
So finally beat him. Game winner, Paul Pierce, drain it, 3-pointer. Me and my brother used to sit literally right in front of the TV, less than 6 feet, like we all did back in the day. I guess that's
it was on a
cord. How long the cord was.
Yeah,
You really thought about that,
leash.
man. Now in today's world, you got like a fucking 80-inch screen TV and you're on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Playing guys online.
But shortly after winning this game and feeling this sense of satisfaction, this was more of an emotional scar, not physical. This one, he tried to get physical, but I'm pretty elusive. Right. So, as soon as I hit the game winner, here I go. Yes,
he knew.
Yes. Here comes a right. All I see is 4 knuckles, man, coming straight at my forehead. I gave it a quick dip. The punch went right over my head, and his hand went right through the drywall. Was about 6 inches into the drywall. So that created a hole about this big right next to where Tom's head was every time we played PlayStation.
Yes. So Tom, immediately afterwards, were you recruited to try and fix the wall or hide the wall?
I was just going to say, I've been in a similar scenario where, so in our dining room at my mom's house, we had a giant china cabinet, right? So one day, me and asshole are fighting, and he kicks how you could kick your shoe off. He kicked his shoe off at me, missed, and it hit the china cabinet. And the china cabinet had a big glass pane, like it was a see-through, big glass pane. He shatters that, and right away our fight just stops. And it's in,
How do we not get killed by our parents?
Like,
now it's time to defend ourselves against mom.
Yes.
Yes.
We're a team again.
We're a team again. We're all dying here.
We're a team again.
So, we have a common enemy, and we need to dispatch that enemy, and then we can resume the normal war.
Correct.
That's right, Pete.
Is there something like that occurred when you punched a hole through the wall, Tom, or what's going
Pete,
down?
just to answer your question, how that wall, it's pretty funny how that hole in that wall evolved over time, right? Of course, it got a little bit bigger, but that was the only fist that went through it. That wall, believe it or not, actually turned into a trash can for us as kids. I didn't clean it. My dad didn't make us patch it up. So that wall was there, I'd say, for 12 to 15 years, and accumulated a lot of trash until it was like head high for a little kid.
So Tommy and Jay were very economical. They made a mistake, they hid it, and they're like, "Oh, now we can hide other mistakes behind the first mistake."
Let's compound this.
So long story short,
ant infestation along with.
Let's go.
Every time a hole opens in the wall, a trash can also opens as well.
Yeah. So all right, finish up.
Hold on, it's not done. Just to wrap that up, Dad, does a little expansion, puts a shower in the downstairs bathroom, so has to take this point, right? So Dad finally opens up the wall. What the fuck is all this trash in here, right?
Could you imagine?
Dad had no idea we used that thing as a trash can for 10 fucking years, dude.
So Dad was ready to shoot everyone.
When you because initially you're pressing it down, but you're in between two studs. Yep. So it's kind of like you can go down and around, so he opened it up, and he was like, the whole thing was just insulated with Doritos bags and
and you know what? I'll never forget the day he did it. He started pulling out all kinds of old school shit like
Grandma's
back
ashes.
in the day, we used to eat old candy, old shit that you don't buy much anymore, man. I had Carmelo wrappers in there, Razzles, Sport bars, everything.
Dude. Dude,
Dad, maybe this was here when you bought the house. This one, has your brother's name on it, and it's definitely a Christmas present.
Yeah.
The satisfaction of beating older brother went a long way, right? Hole in the wall, and then Dad 15 years later uncovering it.
Every time you saw that hole in the wall, you remembered, NBA Live. That was me.
Check it out.
Yeah.
I know.
Nice.
Every time he sees Seth Curry drain a 3, he's like, "Oh yeah, 95, BJ."
Yep.
It's never scared to get in fights, man, because I know I could dodge a punch pretty quickly, even when I didn't know it was coming. So.
Yeah. Smart. You have that sixth sense. I think that comes with most Italians. You're just greasy by nature.
I think it comes with most younger brothers.
Yes.
True.
Even more. Even more.
And for people listening that don't know Jay, like I didn't know Jay as well as you guys, but all I remember was he was all forearms. He wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but his forearms were the size of a 300-pound man. Just
his brother was legendary for going to work out at gyms. Obviously, he's one of my best friends in the world. He's same age, blah blah blah. We would go to gyms, and Jay's not a big human. He's 5'10", maybe 175, but he is the strongest mother. We would go into like gyms to work out in the summer, blah blah. And he would, Jay was just a very nonchalant person too. He's not like outspoken or anything like that. So he'd lay down on the bench and he'd, bang out 250, no problem. Just bang out a couple 10 real quick. And you'd see some meathead come over and slap like 300 on and do like 2. And then you'd see Jay slap on 300 and do like 3. And he's half the size of the guy. And they'd be looking at him like, what the fuck? His brother's so naturally strong. And being a wrestling coach and in jiu-jitsu, you felt some strong people in life. His thing to mess with us as like a joke, as like roughhousing, he grabs you in a bear hug and squeezes you so hard that you have to tap out from his bear hug. Because I swear to God, you can feel your ribs start to like crush.
That's
so fucking. His grip is insane.
Really, plenty of those over the years.
Oh yeah, the bear hug. Oh.
But Steve will remember this even before the gyms and all. Older brother had a bench in his room. He had a bed and a bench. Dude. Room was so small. He had a bed and a bench. Steve, as well as some others, they'd be in there lifting. Yep. I knew what was going on, and all you could hear outside the door was like, "Stomp, do 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 do." Let the
cranking that
music. You were in there. A couple others without names, but
so
fun stuff, man. Fun stuff.
Yep. So that's his older brother.
Hilarious.
Talk about like that's a tough one to have.
Hey man, but that's also too. I guarantee he might have, and I think it's the same for all older brothers where. You and him might have fought, but no one's fucking touching you other than him. Yeah, yeah. Yep. You guys are thick as thieves, so that's a beautiful thing. But I think that's something like I don't know. Maybe you find it in the hoity-toity world as well. I wouldn't know, but I know like that's a blue collar thing where like brothers fight, but then they also like get along and things like that. Which is good. So okay, so let's keep this moving. So. You started working. So like we said, your dad is the hardest worker in the game, right? No one works harder than old Papa Romeo.
Yes, sir.
Old Papa Romeo, and I get it's both your parents, right? Oh, they own
Pamela.
Own and operate Romeos Fine Arts, Cuts, and Frames, and it's located now. Where is it located now, Tom?
It's
over.
Yep, for people that are familiar with the area, pretty close to the high school. They actually used to be in the shopping center across, right on Valley Forge. They moved down a couple lights. Now they're at their shopping center of
it's like
Allentown and Valley Forge. Yep, the Blue Dog's in there. The CVS is there. So.
Nice. We're gonna have a link.
Pizza's in there.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a link to their website in the description of this episode. So people go in there like to check out. Like, look, it adds to your home. I know that we have. Like one of the people we're interviewing next week on the show does a lot of like staging of houses and things like that. Mm-hmm. So when you're doing staging of houses, trying to flip houses and things, it matters like the decor that you use.
Oh yeah,
even the decor of your own home. So these guys they've been in business. How long have your parents had the shop, Tom?
As far back as I can remember, man, they've been in business just about 30 years, raised a family of 3 kids on it. So, really just mom and dad.
Family owned and operated.
They do framing services, like they'll frame.
Oh yeah,
custom art framing. If you want something from Michael's or something chintzy, go there. But you want something nice.
You want some handmade shit by a guy who knows this shit.
My wife was able to find and bought a map of like Roxborough, Mannion from like 1900, and we've been looking for some place to get it framed. So this seems like a good spot.
Done deal.
Yeah, man. Any knickknacks, any wedding gifts, anything, man. They do a pretty good job.
Personalizations.
My mother will entertain you up front, and my dad will do the workout back. So
yes, his mother, Miss Romeo. Shout out to her, great mother. But she's also an entertaining person.
Very cool. Very cool. Nice. And like honestly, too, what you do, a lot of times I've seen this, and it happened in my family where pictures, like my mom and my grandmom had gotten custom paintings done, like the pastel, like not, or like the real paint kind of gimmicks, right? Had gotten custom paintings done of them for each other as like a gift. And they're like handed down like family heirlooms kind of thing. So what your family does, like it isn't cheap, and the paintings and the pictures and the things that they frame, they're supposed to last. So like, you know, say like your grandmom gives you this, it was probably framed by your family. It's going to last generations, and you're providing this for families. And that's a great thing. So very cool, man. And that's good to hear that it's a family business that survived all these years and was able to thrive. And they're just, you know, doing what they love, working and raising a family. That's the American dream, brother. Glad to hear.
Hell yeah.
But that being said, and Pete, you can attest to this because you grew up working at a family-owned business.
Sure did.
Being that you're a child of a family that owns their own business, you kind of came with some free labor. Is that right, in a way?
Look, I got paid very well under the table, under minimum wage. It was a good $5 an hour.
Right.
Allegedly.
Yeah, sometimes.
Don't worry, Steve. The statute of limitations on tax fraud are 7 years, so we're well past it.
Hell yeah, Pete.
What about you? What about you, Tommy? So give us some insight. So what did you learn? How did you like? How was the feeling? Because my dad. So for people that don't know, my dad was a veteran, and he was also blind, right? So as part of being a disabled veteran, what the government does is it sets you up with a government job. I.e., what he would do is that he would run like a deli / like snack bar kind of place in a government building. So the one building that he ran was the Social Security building down at 3rd and Spring Garden, right?
Hell yeah.
So you would go there, and it's kind of like a coffee shop. It has like, you know, the fridges with all the sodas you can buy, all the chips and candies, and they sold like hot dogs and pretzels and everything like that. It was kind of like you know, like a mini deli. They just didn't make sandwiches. But either way, when he was working there, like I worked for him at a time, right? And it is like, if it's your family's place, it is kind of cool, right? Like there is that aspect at first, but then there's also like, all right, you got to fucking work. You know what I mean? And like it's your dad being like, yo, what the fuck? Why isn't this stocked? I told you to do this an hour ago. What, you just jerking off over here? So like it loses that kind of, you know, like that kind of like mystique really quick. So you started there at a young age though. So what did you learn? How did you like it? And like, you know, how do you think it molded you a little bit in the hardworking son of a bitch you are today?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So kind of like I was saying, learned all the work ethic, not just from dad, but mom as well. Yeah. Dad would work, 60-hour minimum weeks, closer probably to 70 growing up.
Hell
so
yeah.
He fucking lived there then.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So let's, kind of just started as a babysitter first and foremost, even before work. Dad would take us there because, didn't feel like paying for a babysitter. We would hang out in the back room. If everybody remembers, I know I mentioned the shopping center that their store was first in. There was a West Coast Video and a Dairy Queen.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So West Coast Video and Dairy Queen was basically my babysitter. When my dad would take us to his shop, we would go straight to the West Coast Video. The guy there loved us, pop in an old school VCR and just sit there. Me and my brother with our backs up against the counter, staring right at the movie, man. And then off to Dairy Queen, catch some lunch and come back. So that was probably go ahead.
Dude, well, I'm just saying, like, could you imagine that now? Like your parents would be fucking locked up if some Karen caught them trying that bullshit.
And we were totally far from calm, man. Total need to be active, but man. So started pretty much as a babysitter, and then first thing I ever did there was clean. So me and my brother would kind of sweep the store up. There all kind of small frame clippings everywhere, glass.
Yep.
So me and Jay, have to turn everything into a competition. So parents always have a big dumpster out back. So of course we're out there. That's right. Of course we're out there playing pig, and we're throwing. I can throw this piece of molding in the dumpster from here. I bet you can't do it. So started with cleaning up, man. Then it turned into cutting frames, building frames. cutting glass and putting people's pictures inside of frames, matting up the back of it, stapling it, and getting it ready to go out the door.
So you were able. So eventually, you started with like the mundane shit that they kind of just didn't want to do, like cleaning up the shop, that kind of thing, like the starter stuff.
Yep.
But then eventually, they taught you the trade of doing the picture framing and stuff. Oh wow. Okay, so that's that's a unique skill to have, right?
Sure
like,
is.
People don't know this. Like if you go to art school, like I believe, like if you go to like fine art school and stuff like that, they teach you how to handle like these priceless works of art. You know what I mean? Like they can't be exposed to certain elements. They have to be treated very delicately, like all these things. And that's kind of like the framing is a big part of that. And that's something you were able to learn. That's a very unique skill. That's really cool, man.
Yeah. Definitely, as far as my parents go, definitely some satisfaction, just from them, being able to raise our family and do a pretty good job, pretty much thrive, not just really survive, man. So.
Would you say too, and I always thought this, in a family spot, like your parents having you kids in the shop, that upselled like a motherfucker.
Big time.
Yeah. When they see these little like, they're like, hey, you guys thought you guys were Italian. Why do you have these Spanish kids running around? You know what I mean? It's like
when I was there. Yeah. Now I never really long stints of me working there, but helping out dad for sure over the years, a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of a stopgap to fill jobs when I was, didn't have a job, stuff like that.
Of course.
When he needed you, he could call on you, which is the best thing. So nice.
And I was never paid once, man, which I didn't expect to be. And that's okay with me. So.
I mean,
Mr. Romeo, that Brazilian kid in the back, we think you might be stealing.
Yeah. You got to eat and live and got clothes and all that stuff though. So I think it kind of
makes you. I just think it makes people see when you go in there and see like kids like that. You know this man's in there for the right reasons. He's doing it the best he can. You're not going in there to some dickhead that just clocked in and hates his boss. And this guy really puts in effort because his family depends on it.
Yeah. You can tell the passion and the
agreed.
I agree. That sticks out for sure. So nice. Awesome, man. So let's keep it moving then. So after Romeo Fine Arts, so your legit first paycheck job was you were a Papa John's pizza maker. And you worked there for a couple months and then something happened. So can you explain to us, Papa John's pizza maker, can you explain to us why you were fired abruptly only after 3 months?
So, very, very short stint at Papa John's. Very entertaining. We shout out to my buddy J-Dub earlier, who we all know. So he actually had already worked there and suggested that I apply there. Now, I know I mentioned earlier, Justin's a year and a day older than me, so that kind of plays into this story a little bit as well. So kind of like Matt was saying, I started Papa John's, putting in an application, put all of my credentials down, my correct birthday, all of that stuff, right? So I was there about 3 to 4 months. We have a little meeting one day in the middle of a shift. The big wigs are in there it's the first time I met the guy. But, they have us doing kind of paperwork and all. And at the end of this meeting, you had to put your birth date down on the paperwork. So at the end of this meeting, they pulled me aside and said, hey, man, we're going to have to let you go. You're no longer able to work here. You're not 16 years old yet.
Oh, my God.
So, and you'd been working there for like 3 months at this point.
Yeah. I'd say between like 3 and 4 months. Damn good at it, man, too.
You had your pizza game down.
You're like, look, if you don't keep me on the payroll, I'm going to call up the state and tell them that you've been hiring a 15-year-old illegally the past 3 months.
Yeah, not only were you hiring an immigrant, but you were hiring
That's right.
Poor 15-year-old boy.
So wow. So man, that was an experience for me, right? So here I am, like, what the hell? No shit, I'm not 16. Like, fucking mad, buddy.
I wrote it on the fucking application. Yeah.
So he goes back and he's like, well, yeah, you're right. Your initial application. So long story short, man, Papa John's stint was short. Was entertaining working there with my buddy Justin. And, just kind of answered phones, made pizzas, put the toppings on the pizzas, pulled the shit out on the other end, sliced it up, put a sticker on a box, and I handed it to the delivery guy.
And put the sauce and the pepper gimmick in there?
But dealing with people.
Oh.
Yep. Dealing with people, man. You're going to see a common theme of all my jobs. It's just people, man. That's
nice. Yeah, well, you're a people person. So, okay, so let's keep it moving. So after you were abruptly fired from Papa John's, you got a job working at a Getty gas station as a gas station attendant.
Ooh.
Now, I will say this. So you are the second person this isn't, so in New Jersey, gas station attendance is a job that it's a must because you're not allowed to pump your own gas in New Jersey.
Bullshit.
Agreed. But in Pennsylvania, that's not a thing. So it's
They
very, very,
trust us.
very rare to see a gas station attendant. That being said, Tommy is the
Matt,
second.
can I give a quick story about this too? So you guys like this. When I was at Drexel, I had I went to Drexel with some guys from Jersey. With some Jersey guys were on the wrestling team, and we went to a party at Temple. And my one buddy drove. He's from Jersey, and he stops to get gas. The middle, like it's like 20th and Diamond. We stopped at this Sunoco to get gas.
Probably
he gets out,
not the safest place, but keep going.
Yeah.
He had never pumped his own gas before, so he gets out of his car. A homeless guy goes up, and he's about to give the homeless guy his credit card. Again, I'm like, Eddie, don't give that guy your credit card. And he's like, well, who's going to pump my gas? I'm like, no, man, you have to pump your gas yourself. So, the homeless guy goes away, and then I get back into the car, and he stands there for a good 5 minutes, just like looking around the car, like he has no idea what to do. And I'm like, you know what? This is the one time where I'm the car guru. So I get out, I'm like, okay, push this, pop it open, fill it up. But yeah. If you're from Jersey, learn how to pump your own gas before you go to Temple University.
Every person has a dumbass Jersey experience with some dumbass that doesn't know how to pump gas. I'm like, isn't it just a common theme? But anyway.
Yeah. So either way, like I was saying, Thomas here is the second gas station attendant that we've had, or second person that was a gas station attendant on the show. The previous gas station attendant was friend of the show, great guest of the show, Mr. Carl Bowers. And he worked at a gas station, which is known as the North Wales Service Station that was in North Wales, which is no longer there. But he worked there. He actually built the sign above the North Wales Service Station.
It's still there, but keep going.
No, but it's not a gas station anymore. It's just a shop.
It's still a service. Yeah, it's still a shop and not a gas station.
It is still called that, though, right? The North Wales
Yes,
Service
yes, it is.
So that wooden sign above the door, he built that. Either way.
I never knew they had pumps there, to be honest.
Yeah, a long time
ago. This was back in the 70s when he worked there. So
back when you could take your girl out for a dime.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So either way, but he had brought up when he was working there, he actually got to learn a lot because as a gas station attendant back then, you were filling up the gas, you were wiping the windshields, you're checking the oil, filling up tires. Yeah. You're rotating and filling up tires, doing all these things. And there was a shop there as well. So we got to work in the shop and things like that. So for you, being that you had the same type of job almost in the same area, 30 years later or so, 20-something years later, what was your experience like? Were you learning something? Was this a valuable skill you picked up? How did you view being the gas station attendant, and what was your kind of role as the gas station attendant?
Yeah, well, first of all, every job I've ever had, I've taken a lot of pride in. You always want to do the best job you can, regardless of what it is, whether whether it's cleaning toilets, mopping the floors.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly, because you got to do it all, if you own a business. But pretty similar, Matt. My experience working at the gas station, man. But I know it kind of started with Jersey has full service. Yeah. The gas station I had worked at also had full service. I think you mentioned that, one of the few remaining ones in the area. So there was actually a little air hose there was one at the beginning of the pumps and one at the end of the pumps. There was an air hose that when cars would run over, you hear the ding, ding. So it's time. Yep. It's time to walk out and there's someone pulling up to a pump. So it started with pumping gas, pretty simple, pretty easy. Now we're talking, back in the day, old school, the pumps weren't digital, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And most of them didn't even have the handle where you could do the automatic thing, run away for 2 minutes and come back. So here you are, you got, there's 8 pumps, right? Because you got 4 pumps on either side. People could pull up. So there's 8 pumps. You had to have some skill out there, man. You got, Joe Schmo over here getting 5 of this. You got other guy over here getting $10 of this. So I'm starting him at $10. I'm running over, starting him at $5, stopping him at $4.50 because I know the 10's about to hit.
Yeah.
I'm running
and
back.
You have to stop it yourself.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
and
so
if it goes over,
some fucking skill.
Oh, back in the day, it was an art form to see it, like he's saying, see a guy work the pumps when they're bumping, to see a guy jump from pump to pump.
Oh, yeah. So I would turn it into a game.
Hell yeah.
And over time, man, you got repeat customers, man. Yep. So you have people that end up loving you. You got
Tipping
cars
you.
that are pulling in from across the parking lot. You're walking to the bathroom so somebody else can pump them, So it kind of started just with pumping gas. Of course, checking fluids was a big thing. Changing oil we had to do. Not oil changes, but filling oil up.
Yeah.
Repairing tires. Always like repairing the front tires versus the back, because the front ones you can kind of have them, turn right or left a lot easier.
Yeah.
Spray the Windex on wherever it bubbles up. That's where the hole is, and then I'd plug it real quick.
Ah,
So that was
fucking
kind of the
Tommy
day job,
Plugs.
man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tommy
I gained a little
Tires.
trust there at the end of the night. I gained a little trust from the guy that owned the place, and he would let me run the numbers, right? So I would add up all the numbers, see how much we made off of gas that night, and off of selling, the snacks or whatever's in a concession area. And man, I'll tell you, I remember writing down numbers of 79 cents, 89 cents, 99, $1.09. Those are pretty much the prices of gas, man.
Yep.
So we've definitely gotten away from that a little bit.
Dude, bro. So this just shows, and I will say this shows, and this is a testament to your parents, like we said, but this shows the caliber of your work ethic and you as an employee, because you're 16 at this time. Right? Not too many shop owners are entrusting, counting the numbers and taking care of this kind of responsibility to a 16-year-old kid who's, we're fucking a bunch of stunads at that point. But you kind of
especially when you're working with a 35 to 40-year-old, and I'm the one that's in charge of running the numbers. So fast forward to the evening when the mechanics leave, right? So the mechanics are there all day. Love chopping it up with the mechanics. Love shooting the shit with them. Kind of got a foundation of old school music from them.
Nice.
Old school, just kind of
old school laborers.
The way people talk. Got an introduction to the whole, the world of, sex education.
The real world.
That, the other thing.
You got some
all
adult
these dudes
jokes thrown at you.
Yeah, dude. All these dudes talk about.
Have you ever seen a donkey show, Tommy?
And that's about it.
No, you're right. We had another guest of the show, Josh Lawler, had a similar kind of first job where he worked in he worked. They would repair construction equipment was the place he worked at. But he was saying a similar thing. He's a young kid being around adults all day that talk like adults, right? So it was kind of like you were inducted into that. And if you weren't squealing, saying, oh, you're cursing, whatever, you're kind of
they let you roll.
Yeah,
they let you roll.
All right, he's all right.
The first time you're around, the first time you're around adults that aren't your parents and aren't your coach and talk to you like you're an adult, you're like, holy fuck, they're all just like me.
Hell yeah, Pete.
Nice.
And then when you let it fly a little bit, which you can't do around your parents, you let it fly a little bit, you get some other people laughing,
but
you're like, okay, this is how it really is.
But then you were coming back too, telling your boys, guys, do you know what a fucking monkey punch is?
Hell yeah.
Let's fucking Houdini these bitches,
the French style?
I'll never forget it, man. I worked with this older gentleman. His name was Stewart, man. I love this guy. He was mid-70s. When I worked there, he was mid-70s. So we're talking, 60 years.
Old head, too.
I'm in the teens. And he was an old Navy, retired Navy dude.
Love it.
Respect.
But, man, this guy was the biggest hornball, I guess you could say, I've ever met in my life, I'm talking anything that pulls in there from 16 to 86. He's trying to fuck it.
Yeah,
absolutely legend.
All right, Stu.
Absolute
Shoot your shot.
Legend,
hell yeah.
Stu real as fuck.
Yo, but I bet
So Tommy, you'll like this. There was back when I was a teenager, I worked with an older Italian man at my dad's deli. And it got to the point where he was getting to 80, and his family wanted to go move to a retirement community. He didn't want to do it. He's like, no, I'm very self-sufficient. I don't want to go to an Italian community or a retirement community. And then one day he comes and he goes, Pete, did you know that these retirement communities are 80% female? I'm like, I've heard. And he goes, so I put my house up this week,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Did you end up getting him into that home, or?
Oh, no, yeah, he got into the home, and then he would tell me all about his exploits, the next day. I'm like, dude, I'm happy for you, but you're 80, and she's 80.
Petey, this girl, she touched my Schiffendale. You should have seen her. You're like, calm down there, Roscoe, calm down.
Well, he would say, he would use the lunch. He would say lunch for their breast. He'd like, we had a nice lunch the other day. I'm like,
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Or he would do the soccer thing. He'd come in and he would just put his fist up there and go, score! I don't care.
Oh, that's
I've been in many a different nursing homes over the years, man, for two of the jobs I had. The one I have now and a previous one, man. So those places are not boring at all. Complete entertainment. Any nursing home you ever
they
go
get down.
Go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Media running
condoms
wild.
all over the place.
Yeah.
A lot of
It's like the
penicillin up in
Olympic
there.
Village at those places, Jesus. All right, fans, time for a break in the action to bring you one of our new segments. This is Give It a Shot with our good friend Bob Quinn. If you're sick of wasting time surfing on streaming services, finding nothing, then going to another streaming service and doing the same damn thing, then you need to start giving shit a shot. On this new segment, Give It a Shot with Bob Quinn, Bob will give us some suggestions on what to watch so you stop wasting time surfing and start enjoying those subscriptions that you've been stealing. Bob, give us a shot.
I'm coming at you today with this one. It's a coming-age tale featuring Shia LaBeouf, Dakota Johnson. It's called Peanut Butter Falcon. This one will tug at the heartstrings. Runtime about 1 hour, 37 minutes. What I'm telling you is, give it a shot.
All right, and that was Give It a Shot with our good friend Bob Quinn. Now, back to the show. Yeah, so let's keep it moving, though. So you're working as a gas station attendant, doing well there. You end up leaving that job, and then you go to be a pizza delivery guy at Franconi's Pizza. Right?
Shout out.
So this is just like one of your regular pizza joints. You know, they had the pizzas, the steaks, all that kind of stuff.
Family-owned joint.
Family-owned joint. So what kind of thing, as a delivery guy, you're driving, you're doing all this stuff, you're working for tips mostly. So how did you like working in a kitchen atmosphere? Because that's kind of similar to the auto garage where you're cutting it up, talking the shit, doing like the talk and all that.
Except this time you're – oh, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so this time you're cutting it up with girls your age, right?
Yeah.
Girls from 16 to 40 instead of males from like 40 to 60, man.
Yes, exactly. So there's a female element involved in things like
Let's
that.
go.
You're the good looking young
Hell yeah.
Italian
He's the
kid
Italian
with the tan.
stallion.
He's this
Hey,
yeah.
Tommy.
So how did you like delivering pizzas? And this is while you're in high school as well, and you're playing football. And,
Senior year of high school, man.
Yeah, you're kind of the town stud doing your
Hell
thing.
yeah.
So how'd you like it? How was your experience? What did you learn?
I loved it, man. I loved every job I've ever had, man. Again, try to do it to the best of my ability. Man, what was my actual job? Shit. Delivering food for the most part. When you're not delivering food, you come back to the place and you're washing dishes. Yep, you're washing dishes. And that's pretty much it, man. That's your job. Deliver food and then wash dishes. So
And spit game to the biddies.
Yeah, we're getting there. So that was that was a big part of it, man. Just we had a group of attractive young girls that worked there.
Hell yeah.
Definitely hung out with more than one of them more than once.
That's right.
You know, outside of work. So that was a plus of working there, right? Anybody that's worked in the restaurant
You
industry,
took them to church, right? You
He
were saying when you hung out with them,
nuts.
you took them to church. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And not
Sunday
on Sunday,
service.
you know?
No, not on Sunday.
Yep.
The old
Not on
Saturday
Sunday.
night service.
That's
But
right.
in addition to the to delivering food and all, man, again, like you said, customer service, right? So you're constantly dealing with people. You know, kind of in between deliveries, I'd hop on the grill. My favorite thing to do is always a chicken cheesesteak with pepperonis cut up in it.
Oh,
So, you know, had about
There
2
you
of
go.
those a day. You know, would hop in my car, go deliver some food. Used to deliver some party favors to friends and acquaintances as well.
Sure,
So it was kind of cool being out on the road. So
You're like, I got some extra mozzarella sticks. I'm going to swing by Tony's house, hook them up.
That's right.
Hey,
That's
send
right.
Tom on the delivery. I want extra cheese. Let him know the extra.
tell him I
Yeah,
want
man.
the extra mozzarella.
So
once in a while you get invited into a party, right? You might deliver 10, 15
Sure.
pizzas. You know, you may have some older guys playing poker in the basement drinking. Hey, come on in, man. Next thing you know, you're in there and there's some older
Like,
women
hey,
there
my wife
drinking.
is
So-
bored.
yeah.
Damn, I'm about to get a job right now delivering pizzas. This sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
Sure does. Sure
But
does.
that was
So,
it, man. Just kind of your standard pizza delivery boy.
Hell yeah.
Want to talk about this real quick because, well, it's going to be it's going to be something that's going to be talked about. So,
Okay.
we had a former guest on the show, and we're airing his episode soon. Or at this point, we would have aired his episode. But former guest of the show, friend of the show, Vinny Travaline, a.k.a. Vinny Ravioli. And Vinny Ravioli is a big fan of the cheesesteaks himself. And he's also an advocate of putting mayo on the cheesesteak. And I would just like to know, I would just like to ask, Pete, I think the world is well aware of your opinion. I believe I'm quoting here when you said that you support Michael Vick's rehab, but you didn't support him hurting dogs, just like you support cheesesteaks, but you don't support putting mayonnaise on cheesesteaks. So you're comparing putting mayonnaise on cheesesteaks to underground dog fighting, a.k.a. you're abusing cheesesteaks by putting mayonnaise on them. Is that
I stand
right?
by that statement 100%.
Right.
And I
So-
back you, Pete.
Okay, so Thomas, your thoughts? Mayonnaise on a cheesesteak?
That's a violation, man. Straight
Violation.
That's right.
up. Yeah. I like it dry, man. For whatever that's worth.
No
We're talking
ketchup, nothing?
hoagies. I'll do ketchup on a hot dog or
The
something.
cheesesteak has the grease. You don't
but
need
first of all,
anything else.
Yeah, you also
Pete
don't do
likes
ketchup.
the meat.
You got to do the red sauce on a cheesesteak there, man. You don't do
Oh,
ketchup.
he go gravy.
Oh, you're a pizza steak man.
That's Tommy plugs.
But,
Tommy plugs.
But no, man, simple answer, no mayo for me anywhere,
yeah.
not just on a cheesesteak. And for anybody that's never tried it,
Yep.
chicken cheesesteak with pepperonis cut up in it. It can't be the big.
It can't be.
Hell
it can't
yeah.
be the wheels.
That's
you gotta
right.
dice them. I like
Nah.
it. What kind of
Mixed
cheese
in
you
there.
going with that? Is it American?
I believe so. Yeah, I think that's normal. Yeah. I
Normal.
would just order it
Yep.
normal.
Pete, I hope
Shout
you're
out to
happy
Tony's
again.
Pizzeria Palace down the place.
Oh,
Makes the
Tony's
best chicken
Pizza
cheesesteak
Palace.
out.
Tony's Pizza Palace. They got a good Sicilian there too. So
So I'm liking everything
I
I'm
hope
hearing
so.
from Tommy so far. He's a good cheesesteak man.
yeah,
Hell
so
yeah. Pete's
Pete-
with it.
I won't begrudge.
Pete hates
I'm
mayonnaise as
not a
well.
pizza sauce guy myself, but if he wants to reach into the wall,
Hell yeah.
pull the sauce out from where him and Jason
Yeah.
hit it, and
I like it.
there you go.
All right.
Hey, you know who has good cheesesteaks that I actually didn't think? Last night we hit the Sixers game, the playoff game. Got
Yeah.
a cheesesteak there. Man.
Shout
It's way
out.
better than I thought it was going to be.
Where?
Way better.
No,
Oh,
hell yeah.
you were
At
at
the Sixers game last
Oh,
night.
Yeah, he was at the game.
okay. Yeah,
Hell
so you
yeah.
got it at the Wachovia Center, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Wells Fargo. Yeah.
Wells
That
Fargo.
would be that
You're
is an
talking like three
Aramark
names ago.
establishment. There you go.
Oh,
You mean Core State Bank Center, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
At the Spectrum? You at the
Hit it back
Spectrum?
to the Spectrum. But yeah, man. I gotta love. I'll go chicken cheesesteak over cheesesteak, man. But no matter.
Nobody's perfect, Tommy, but
All
you're
right.
close.
Whoa.
Far from it.
So
Let's roll.
let's keep it moving. So let's talk about this. And Tommy, if you don't want to talk about this, it's fine. I'll edit this out of the episode if you want. But we're coming to a point in your life where an incident occurred, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very, very big incident. I believe it got national media attention. It was kind of at this wasn't really the social media era yet, but
Nope.
news there was like AOL Instant Messenger and emailing and things like that. So kind of news could travel
And,
fast.
and Matt, it touches on a theme that we've hit on a couple of episodes too. You know, an important theme for people.
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Agreed.
And we talked about it recently. So we've aired an episode with a friend of ours, good friend of the show, Eddie Rappo, right? And on the Eddie Rappo episode, he talked about an incident that changed his life that he regrets every day, where he was a young man and he had gotten into a fight and he would end up hurting the guy he fought, and the guy he fought would end up passing away, and Eddie would get charged with second-degree manslaughter and have to serve time, right? And this was just, he was a young kid. He was 19 at the time. It's just kids being kids and kids fight, right? And it happens. But we brought it up on the show where there's major consequences in those times. Tom, you're looking at a similar scenario here where there was a big fight that happened between rival schools, and it was, it kind of got out of hand. And then Tom would end up having to serve time as well. He was in for 3.5 months, right? He was in county for 3.5 months. And there were some kids that got hurt and things like that. And it was a decision that you made. And I'm assuming you regret it as well, because things like that get out of hand. But in the moment, you don't know what's going on. Had you gone back, Eddie Rappo had said his one advice to kids is that had he gone back, he would have walked away in a second. Had he got to do it over again, he would walk away in a second. It doesn't make you the weaker man. Doesn't take away from you. If anything, he would say it made you stronger. So you're coming in a similar scenario. We won't say a lot about what happened, but it was something similar. No one was killed, thank God, or severely injured. But there was a scenario where you were involved in a fight that occurred with young kids. You were still in high school at the time, or just graduated, right? Just graduated. And
Yep.
so you're 1 year removed from high school. This occurs. You end up having to serve 3.5 months. You get done your prison sentence. And when you get done sentences like that, you can go one of two ways. You can go down the shitter and ruin your life, or you can pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get your shit back together. And I think, and seeing your story, I believe that's what you did. So you served your time. You got out of jail. Is there, before we move on to your job after you got out, is there anything you want to say about the incident and the time you served?
Yeah, man, I can touch on it real quick. So I guess we kind of rolled into there. Let's start at Franconi's, right? So I'm actually delivering food one night, and I get a call from my father from Romeos Fine Arts. He's still at work, of course, late at night. And he says, hey, somebody just came into my office and told me you're facing about 10 to 20 years in prison for a couple assault charges. Immediately, wow. I just kind of froze up as I'm delivering food, and I go, Dad, what are you talking about? So my dad, he knows a lot of people in the area. Had a lawyer come in that had already heard about, the scenario, came into his job and said, hey, I heard your son's name as part of this. So, of course, I denied it first, Dad. I don't know what you're talking about. And then he gives me the month and the
always
day.
A good move.
Yeah, right? You always got to deny it till
always
you're
a
caught,
good move.
Right? So then he tells me the day and the month it happened and rewind in my head to that day and that month. So I had actually, just to touch on what you said, Matt, I had just graduated high school about 2 weeks earlier and turned 18 about 3 weeks prior.
Jesus.
So here we are, late June. And long story short, it was a fight between two high schools. Yeah. I'm not going to go into, specific details and all, but long story short. Plus it's a real long story. But long story short, a couple kids got hurt, and the police found out about it. So, those kids that got hurt, one of the individual's father was actually a Bucks County. I don't know if he was a police officer or what he was, but he was in law enforcement in Bucks County. Yeah. One of his kids had a broken jaw. So, of course, not only were they going to prosecute, but they're going to do it to the fullest. Here you have kind of two rival football teams, and, they're getting in a fight here. So, man, just due to me turning 18 about 3 weeks before this happened, went to a series of court dates, fingers got pointed from different people at different people. We'll just leave that at that. And because I was now an adult, I got a jail sentence. So I think three of us were adults and all got jail sentences, and about 8 to 10 other people got like boot camp weekends because they weren't 18 yet. But man, did 3.5 months in Bucks County. Which to me was just kind of like a day camp with with some criminals, with some idiots, to be honest. Some I guess we're all criminals at that point because we are in jumpsuits and are behind bars.
Would you say your experience in there at a young age? So okay, I will say this, and I haven't talked about it this much, but I had gotten an offer to go pro for boxing. I was 28 at the time, right? I rejected the offer because I had gone to a fight and I was cornering for my trainer, this guy named Harry Joe York, right? And when I was cornering for him, there was another guy there fighting. His name's Mike Stewart. He had been on the Contender, and he was actually fighting for a North American title that night, so he would win. And I had met him with my one of my other trainers and the owner of Henzo Gracie PA Academy, Rich Latta, would be his cut man for his fight that night. So before the fight, though, we had to meet with Mike and kind of iron everything out. We're talking to him, and and there was a couple other guys there that I had seen that were just so punch drunk and just so affected by the sport that to me I was like, I don't want that, and it could very well go that way. I started to see things. Things happen to me physically and things like that I was like, I could see that, I don't want this to happen. So it kind of scared me straight. Would you say your experience in county was kind of a wake-up call that scared you straight, that was like, this isn't my life. This isn't where I belong. This isn't where I end up. I'm better than this, and I'm going to prove it after I get out of here. Is that kind of a scenario you think you went through?
Yeah, 100%, man. Pretty much spot on. You're sitting in there. There's always going to be 24 hours in the day, but in there, man, they just feel twice as long. So you got some time to think, of course. So at a young age, you're thinking a lot. But long story short, man, did 3.5 months. Kind of told myself, when I get out of here, I'm going to change some things. Definitely not as serious as your other guest that you mentioned, where somebody had passed away. But definitely, had an assault charge on my record from injuring somebody. So no good.
That follows you.
And I think the reason why it's important to touch on this is because like we're all guys, right? We've all kind of come up with, wrestling, football, whatever. Like fights happen. You know what I mean? Like I was a bouncer. And you don't think it's a big deal. You're like, okay, we're just getting into this thing, but the serious things can happen, and it's kind of scary. Like, when you look back on it, like there's so many times you look back and you're just like, oh my God, what was I doing? And you just want to like reach back and grab that young kid and be like, don't do it, Now we're moving on. It's great, but that's why it's always good. It's always good to learn from others. You know what I mean? Because if you rely on yourself for learning for everything, then you're always going to miss out on.
I've never been in a fight.
So let's keep it moving. So like we said, you would learn and grow from that incident, and after you got out, you started working. You were on work release for a little bit, but you got a job detailing cars. So what were your thoughts? How did you like detailing cars and doing all that? What did you think? What was your experience? What did you learn?
Yeah, so actually segued straight from the work release. That was my work release job, was detailing cars. Okay. So they would let me out about 10 hours a day. After the first month I was in there, the last 2.5 were on work release. Yeah. So yeah, man, something I took pride in. I loved it. At first I didn't even know what detailing a car meant. I just know I worked next door to the car wash. So, hand washing a lot, right? Yeah. Oh, I loved it, dude. We would hand wash cars, but detailing, it's just really cleaning the shit out of every crack and every crevice inside. But what I honestly got more satisfaction was detailing the outside of cars, man. I would have guys bring in cars, they've had for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Maybe some old school, 67 Chevelle or whatever, or old school stuff where the paint's a little faded. And I loved it, man. I love bringing paint back. Makes the car look like it came just right off the lot. You get rid of them spider webs and all different colored cars. And it takes time too, man. So, there's a whole process to it, like everything. So I had to learn that process. But again, customer service, man. Always dealing with people, nonstop. You got to please people, man. Yeah,
dude. But I'll tell you what, that seems like that type of job seems like one of those extremely gratifying jobs, right? Where like you see the product of your work in front of you, and like you're able to see it, like see the progression, see how it goes. To me, that seems like it'd be very much like one of those things. Like, damn, that's fucking cool. And I'll tell you what, there's an art form to that, man. Because, like, you'll take a car in there that looks like a fucking jalop. You spit shine that son of a bitch up. It's coming out there looking like it's a fucking Ferrari, Yeah,
give it the hood wash, man. Windows and wheels, and you're good to go.
Stop with it.
Yeah, former host of the show.
With it.
Former host of the show, Shake, worked at a dealership, and he would preach to this, that the number one thing for him was if you clean the wheels, it makes the car look brand new. Number one thing. Okay, so let's keep it moving then. So you were doing the detailing cars. You moved to, now you were doing a job that this seems very, very kind of like a niche thing. So you were a cross-country mover, right? So this seems like a very kind of like, this is kind of one of those things where you see it, you're like, oh, this is a great idea for a job. Like people always need this. When I was 7, we moved here from California. So I know that we used a cross-country mover, so kind of
fly it all out, Matt?
No, hell no. You kidding me? I was like, we need to get a truck for all my Legos. So, but either way, what kind of things were you doing, and how does it work? Do you go to someone's house? Do you stock the truck up and then drive it to the next place? How does it work? Can you kind of give us a rundown?
Yep. Yeah, man. So I was a mover. Got sick of detailing. When you're detailing, your body's twisted in all weird ways and all, you're always bending over. So, just wanted to get away from that, honestly. But stepped right into moving where, it's not like you're picking up light boxes or anything. Hopped on a truck with a very good friend of mine's father, who's been doing it now about 35 years. He's a long tenure driver. And we drove all over the country, man. So basically it was me and him. We were in a cab, right? So there's bunk beds in the cab there. It's a 52-foot trailer. When that thing's full, it's about 35 to 40,000 pounds. And, driving all over the U.S., man, picking up one family, let's say we pick them up in PA, maybe we move them down to Texas. Then maybe when you're in Texas, you don't know what's happening next, right? You might be in Texas, you get a call. Hey, you guys got to go pick up this family in West Virginia, move them down to Florida. Okay, cool. Go to West Virginia, pick them up. Then you're in Florida. Hey, man, we got a job in Louisiana. Go get it. So that's the way the life on the road is, man.
Yeah. So you're all over the place on the road the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in about 38 out of 50 states that year that I worked there. Now, not hanging out a lot.
Wow.
Yep. Just kind of driving through, passing through a little bit.
Did you make it to any of the Dakotas?
Ooh.
So, no. Where we didn't go, Pete, is kind of Dakotas,
Montana,
all the way to your left, and
Gotcha.
and that side of Nevada over.
Pacific
So
Northwest is where it got cut off.
Yeah,
you got it, man. You got it.
Nice.
And all the way far northeast, not like Maine. And
Was there a favorite
but,
stop? Was there a place you're like, oh, this is the place I could,
Oh, we're getting there. Yeah. Yeah. So real quick, the best way for me to describe it though is now I work for a gentleman, a very good friend of mine's dad. So he has kids and he's married. So tough life, man. Make a lot of money. Those guys, they hustle. He was a long tenure driver. So the income's definitely good, but rough life, man. Growing up, missed all his kids' sporting events, and all of his kids were in sports growing up. Talking to his wife on the phone. Hey babe, I'll be home in 2 days. Call her 20 minutes later. Hey, babe, just got a call. I'll be another week. So, definitely tough on the family life for sure.
Yeah.
My job was simple. I didn't have the CDL. I didn't drive the truck. I laid in the back bunk, the bottom bunk, made peanut butter and jellies, ate Slim Jims, read books, and played PlayStation, man. And then we'd get out and our work when we would get to a destination.
Dude, you could read when you were driving because that makes me so sick every time I try it. Every time I try to read something. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like
anything over like 20 minutes, half hour, which is kind of my, I'm kind of the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, see, I can read when my wife's driving, so she turned out to be the driver and I'm the passenger because she gets a little car sick and I don't. So I'm like, all right, I guess you're driving and I'll just be fucking around on Twitter.
So fucking car sick. Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah. To me, there's also something a little bit more. It sinks in more when you actually read it versus hearing it. At least that's me. Everybody's different, but I know everybody loves the audiobooks and all, but I'd much rather physically have it there with me. I can highlight stuff and.
But Tommy, do you have the same thing where you have to read the first paragraph 4 times before it catches? You're like, or you just keep reading. You're like, all right, now I'm good. Yeah.
If I'm that interested, yeah. But honestly, no. I was more. Let's just get to the bottom of the page and on to the next one.
Man, look at you.
So
nice.
Good moving story.
Hit me.
Dalton, Georgia. I'll never forget it. 21st birthday.
All right.
On the road in Dalton, Georgia. Was with my buddy's father.
You turned. So this is May 30th in Dalton, Georgia. This is your exact 21st birthday. Okay, go ahead.
2007. Ooh. 2007 is the year.
Ooh.
Yep. So I'm 21. We did work that day. So I had to work that day. Not many days off, man, when you're on the road. Maybe a down day here or there. But even on those days, you're driving too. So not really a down day for the driver.
Yeah.
But Dalton, Georgia, me, the guy I work for, one of his best friends that's actually from Philly who lived down in Florida, whose house we would stay at whenever we were in Jacksonville. But this time we were in Georgia and he had a worker with him. So there's 4 of us. We go out to an Outback Steakhouse, and I guess you're supposed to drink 21 shots on your 21st birthday.
That you are.
Yeah, man. So anybody that's been to an Outback Steakhouse knows it usually starts with a blooming onion.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Of course, the blooming onion.
Yep. So that blooming onion did more than bloom that night.
Bloom twice, eh? Hey.
Yeah, man. So we drank all 21 shots. And then this was
damn.
Don't think I was going to throw up, at least not yet. But I guess this is a thing. After your 21st shot, they brought out, I think from what I remember, it was called like a lemon drop. Maybe it was a shot mixed in with ice cream. So it was ice cream, and it's just supposed to make you throw up. Like that's what it's for.
Yeah.
So long story short, man.
Cream.
Here we go, a bite or 2 of ice cream, and I feel it coming. So immediately I get off of my chair, and I start scurrying, not running, fast walking towards the bathroom.
Sure.
Well, I still remember, I could still picture this, dude. The hallway walking down, you got to bang a right to go into the bathroom. Well, I made it down the hallway. I banged a right, and that was it. Just came out everywhere. Blooming onion. Still remember I had a Drover's platter that night, which is steak and chicken mixed. All over, caked all over the wall. Didn't make it to the sink. Didn't make it to the urinals. And at that point, realized I had just fucked that bathroom up. So just let it keep flowing, man. All over the ground.
It's already been ruined.
Mirrors, sink. And, I wasn't in there long. I was in there for like 3 minutes.
And you're so good looking, you still scored that night. You son of a bitch.
Nah, far.
I still remember the shot that put me over the edge on my 21st birthday.
Yeah, where'd you
and
go?
It was
where were you at?
So there's a shot called the 3 Wise Men. And the 3 Wise Men is Jim Beam, Jack Daniels and Johnny Walker.
Yes.
But I'm a big guy, and I worked at the place, so they had me do the Three Wise Men Go to Mexico, so they threw some Cuervo on there at the same time just to finish it off.
God.
I got pushed home in a shopping cart.
Nice, man. So I go back to my seat after I throw up. I don't even tell the guys I'm with I threw up, right? I'm like,
hey, I'm cool,
right?
man.
Here I am back. I'm ready to drink more. They're like, damn, this kid's a beast. He just drank 21 shots. He didn't even throw up, and he's ready to go.
Demons.
Yeah.
So an employee that works there at the Outback goes in the bathroom, and of course sees my scene.
Sees that blooming onion.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it did more than bloom that day, man. So they came over to where we were sitting down, and very nicely basically said, dude, it's like that's a lot in there. One of two things need to happen. You guys either have to go in there and you have to go clean it up yourself, or you guys need to leave. So the guy, but his buddy said, okay, where's the fucking check? You get no tip.
Oh, wow.
So that's how that night ended. We were out of there within 2 or 3 minutes. He's a no-nonsense dude, so he didn't tip. He stuck true to his word. Yeah. And then we went right across the street to the Holiday Inn that we were sleeping in anyway, and drank a case of beer, a Coors Light in the hot tub, and let them all float around us until
you were still able to go through a case of beer in a hot tub after that?
There was 4 of us, and I had just thrown up all the liquor, so I was good to go all night again. Man.
Yeah, it was like a fucking Jackson Pollock painting in that fucking bathroom.
You know what? That's what I do remember, like being a bouncer. Like there was only one time where I kicked the guy out and I felt bad because like he had puked, and that was like if you were a bouncer and you saw someone throw up, you had to kick him out, right? Like it was basically that's like you can't hide this. Yeah. And the guy's like, look, this person just gave me a shot, and I'm like, look, I understand, man, but I have to kick you out. There's liability issues, like just close out your tab or whatever.
Yeah, so that was moving, man. A lot of hard work, a lot of long hours.
Nice.
Worst moving job we did was in West Virginia, man. Close to Morgantown, so close to the college, on like the side of a mountain. So I remember driving up there, and the guy that I was working for went to turn into the driveway, although he couldn't. We're up on the side of a mountain, and there's the little gullies, right, with the water running underneath. So he had a very, very narrow driveway. He couldn't swing the truck with the 52-foot trailer to get down to the house, which, mind you, was about a quarter mile of a rocky driveway downhill. Worst moving job we ever did. And we didn't have sometimes if that was a scenario and we knew it, we'd get a small Pac-Man that we knew could kind of maneuver. But it wasn't the case there, man. So, had to carry everything about a quarter mile uphill back to the truck, up a rocky driveway. None of the moving carts. And
this is like with furniture, like a quarter mile with like a piano and a couch and shit.
Yep. None of the moving dollies we had move slow because you're not on concrete, right? You're on the rocky stuff.
You need those beach ones with the giant tires. Like you can't.
Yeah. And I still remember, man, the lady we moved, she was the women's swimming coach at the University of West Virginia.
She bodied up.
And, yep. And the gentleman, yeah, I believe they tipped. Yeah, I got tipped very, very. I actually couldn't believe the tips when I did moving. Man, tips
busting your ass.
So the money's great. You're on the road, you're making money, you're not spending a dime. If we got to our
through expenses like the hotel, I guess.
Yeah. Well, my buddy's father, he would buy dinner every night. So basically, it was a 12-pack of Miller Lite and dinner. Me and him every night back at the hotel watching a movie.
Not bad.
If we got to I loved it, man. If we got to our destination after like 9 p.m., we'd sleep in the cab, bunk beds in there. But if we were there before 9, always a hotel. So life on the road, I loved it.
Tommy, was there a town or a city you visited that you're like, oh, like if I'm not coming back to the Philadelphia area, this is where I want to live? Like, was there a spot you're like, this is where I could be?
Yeah, and only because there was a couple very attractive girls in a small concentrated area. I was in Jackson, Tennessee. I'll never forget.
Whoa!
Jackson. We went into a what's the other one? Not Outback Steakhouse. Come on, what's the other one? Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse. So they have the rolls.
Yeah, so we're in the Roadhouse.
Easy beat.
The gentleman I was there with had never eaten peanuts and threw them on the ground. He just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, man. Because they let you, right? You just eat peanuts out of the bucket and just drop the shells on the ground. It was awesome. But Jackson, Tennessee.
That is a strange flex by them to just throw your shit on the floor. So some poor $10 an hour girl's got to sweep that up at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, that was it, man. A little short of a year. We were down south a lot, so the weather was nice at least. But
nice.
I remember being up north, and it was kind of cold, and I was like, fuck this, I'm done. So
Yeah.
it lasted almost a year, and that was life on the road, man. Got to see, a lot of.
That's a good
parts of the
experience for a
country.
young kid, though.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Nice.
For
So
sure.
let's keep it moving. I kind of want to go over this. So you, after you got done working as a mover, you went to ITT Tech. And then at the same time, you were working for another of your friend's dads at Ziegler Electrical, and you were also back at the detail shop for a little bit while you were at ITT Tech. You then
Shout out Big Zig.
Yeah. So then, shout out Ziegler Electrical. Then after you graduate from ITT Tech, then you work at a pump company cleaning septic stations.
Well, Matt, actually,
Pete's
you know what,
listening. Pete's listening.
I kind of want to go over the ITT Tech thing just a little bit because, so in my experience, almost everyone that gets into the trades starts in high school, right? Like, Steve, you went to tech school right away, right?
Sure did.
Tommy, did you go to tech school or no?
No, nothing, man. You see, I kind of hopped from job to job and just didn't know what the hell to do.
So that's what I like to, because that's what, I think more people need to know how to get into the trades after high school. Because so many people think, I have to make this decision in 10th grade, and that's my decision for life. So I want to hear how somebody did it, after that.
For me, it was just it was like I mentioned, working a couple labor jobs, right? And it was just, knowing that a piece of paper and a degree opens more doors, right? More money, maybe not have to work as hard physically. So that was kind of my mindset was, hey, man, let's get a degree, even if it's not what I'm going to school for. I know it opens up more doors. I know most people that have degrees don't work in that field anyway. Yeah. So for me, that was the mindset. And it was getting done quick. I didn't want to do 4 years. So I enrolled in a kind of accelerated engineering program. It was 2 years, man. Nice. Now, it turns out the school I went to is no longer even really a school. I still had my degree. They had some legal issues. I didn't have to pay back any school loans a little later than I paid some of it back. So at least anybody that knows that school and that background.
That is interesting. I know they had some problems, these for-profit schools, but I know a lot of guys that got into they became electricians or engineers.
Great teachers.
And they went,
teachers,
Lincoln Tech, sure. and it's just it's interesting to me. It kind of went away where I'm just this was a door to do something. You know what I mean? To make a good living.
Yeah, my good friend's father was an electrician, so kind of went hand in hand with what I was doing a little bit with the engineering. So worked with him, man. He's a no-nonsense, old school, throw a tool at you, curse at you all damn day. Let's hit the bar for an hour for lunch and then quit 2 hours after that because we don't feel like working anymore. Yeah. And I absolutely loved it, man, once again.
Yeah. So basically, the red-blooded American.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So nice. All right. So let's keep it moving then. So nice. So thanks for sharing that. Great question, Pete. Good thing, too, because we do talk about the trades a lot, and we like that. We're big fans of the trades on this show. Look, the working perspectives, trades is the game, baby. We want to see everyone. I'm not excluding any other jobs, but I feel like the trades need to get their due and proper.
I think what Matt's trying to say is we like anything that's affordable that anybody can do. You know what I mean? Trade schools, community colleges, state schools, anything that it is accessible by the common man, and that's what we that's what we promote on the Working Perspective podcast.
But we don't like good-looking soccer players.
Is that?
Yeah.
There it is.
So that being said, so like we said, you graduated from ITT Tech, then you got a job at a pump company cleaning septic stations. So
shit water,
yeah. So kind of explain what this. So I'm kind of generalizing it, but what was your job? What did you learn, and how did you like it? Because to me, sounds like a pretty shitty job.
Play on words. It was interesting, man. I worked out of an office. It was in Norristown. This company sold pumps to not just, residential areas, but also municipalities, right?
Okay.
So my job was, if I'm at the warehouse, it's just kind of maintaining the warehouse, answering calls a little bit. But I worked with a technician who was awesome, man, taught me a lot. But our job was really just go out, install grinder pumps and electrical panels, that control the pumps. And troubleshoot panels when something goes wrong, maybe get a call from, hey, this municipality, come on out, fix our panel. But along with fixing the panel usually consisted of pulling up the pump and cleaning it. No idea what I was getting into when I first started this, man. But so, pulled up many a pumps, got lots of shit on my wrist at some point.
Oh,
Yeah, man. Yeah. Every once in a while they would just, I'd delivery also, man. So I'd put a pump in my back of my truck and just kind of drive out anywhere between about 2 hours away in Penn State, deliver a pump and come back. So sometimes it was just driving, so I get to listen to music. Every once in a while I would deliver a pump while they're installing it. And I'm talking big pumps too. So for anybody that doesn't know, the only reason they use pumps is to pump water uphill. Most municipalities try to put the place below the development or wherever, so it all kind of gravity feeds down. So that's why people are ordering pumps, man. But there's actually
that's why apartment buildings have the water tower on top.
Yes, sir.
Use that good old fashioned gravity. It's free.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mention a place here. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it or been to it, but I didn't even know a place like this existed in this world, man. It's like a third world country. It's not that far away. There's a place actually called Alsace-Lorraine. It's a little bit north of Boyertown. You go all the way up to Boyertown, you bang a little left, and then there's just like this. They're not really all like modular homes or trailers, but it's basically a development of modulars and trailers and just shitty old homes. And they all needed shit pumps. I'll never forget it. So we had to go out there. I still remember.
Great Swiss cheese in Alsace-Lorraine.
shit pumps.
How do you know that place, Pete?
Because I used to sell. I worked at a deli, and we had Alsace-Lorraine Swiss cheese. So I think it's from the same place in PA.
It smells like that up there, Swiss cheese, man. So hold on. So long story short, I still remember 27 installations we had to do. Me and my senior I worked with, his name was Jeff. Yeah, now we didn't do the excavating. We didn't have to build it. They were mostly like 10-foot basins that go in the ground, and then we put the pump in the basin, right?
Yeah.
So that was our job, and then we run wire to the panel.
Now I have a question. You said a grinder, Thomas, right? A pump and a grinder. Was the grinder a propeller that cut up the doo-doo?
That's exactly what it was. And whatever else went into people's drains, man.
So the shit would really hit the fan at your job, huh?
Straight up, yeah. Yep.
Wow.
It was interesting, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But back to Alsace-Lorraine, me and my guy Jeff, we installed 27 pumps. Well, guess what? 27 failed. We fucked up. Something was wrong, man. So that job went from like 1 week to like 2 or 3 weeks, man. I never forget it.
That town sounds like a real shithole, huh? Jesus.
Hey, he's still firing.
Hey. All right.
Shitty as shit. Now I'm talking. Hold on. Back to this town real quick. All right.
Okay.
Let's sit on the town more.
Okay,
bro. They got mutants from that town. I'm talking chicks with hair on their palms. People look like they're fucking inbreds up there. Straight up.
This is where
Tommy punched a hole in a wall and then hit himself in it. He just dug himself down there.
Dude, some of the because we're putting these pumps in. Imagine what system they had before this. So some of the backyards were just like toilet paper and like liquid shit, and I'm just like, yo, this is fucking.
It's like Meet the Fockers 2.0. Like you're going for the wedding. Like,
yeah, man. So that scarred me for life. And my pump boy job only lasted a month or two after that.
Yeah. So you got the shit out of there. So
that shit.
So let's keep it moving then. So you after that
shout out Amityville or whatever the fuck that awful place is.
Alsace-Lorraine.
That's what he said.
Yep. So after that you got a job at I don't want to say the name of the place, but you worked in a clean room at like it's like a parts place, right? You worked in a clean room at an area that built parts. Is that right?
Yeah. So this was a little bit more geared towards what I went to school for, which, the pump thing was as well. But, this job didn't smell like shit. I was actually in a clean room, right? So I go from the shit job to the motherfucking clean room. One end of the spectrum to the other. But Matt, kind of like you're saying, that place, they build devices that regulate the flow of gases and liquids.
Okay.
So I'm in a clean room. All you can see is my eyes. I have little glasses on, look like an astronaut suit.
Nice.
And it was pretty much a production line, man, which I started on the production line. And then, kind of like every other job, try to learn everything about it, bump up to team lead there. And then I'm kind of telling everybody what to do, making sure we're hitting our numbers.
Yeah. Look at you getting the leadership role. Nice.
Yeah, man. And then hopped into the service department. So no longer kind of building these devices. Now I'm fixing them. So got out of the clean room and into the service department where I didn't have to wear the astronaut suit. It's a little more laid back, a little more come and go as I please, as long as I get the job done, man.
Yeah, nice.
And I was there for a couple of years, and I liked it there.
Were you put into a leadership role in the service department as well?
No, I wasn't. There was only one of them, and he was there for 30x years, and I wasn't.
But you were able to
didn't
learn
want that job.
Yeah, nice. But you were kind of, the way it seems is like you're kind of your own boss anyway. So
yeah, man. As long as the job gets done, man. Yep.
Nice. So good. That sounds like a cool job. You got to learn. You got to experience something very unique. Like, that's very cool. I like to see those kind of things.
One thing I'll mention real quick, I was one of the only white males that worked there. It was more of a job, where I was the minority. It was very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Again, every job I've ever had is kind of dealing with different people from different parts of the world, different ethnicities. So just kind of learn from those people, man.
But that's cool, though. I like seeing that. I love that stuff. Like, when I was working in kitchens and stuff, like, I was one of, like, 2 white guys. You know what I mean? Like, I always had fun with that. I loved it.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Yep.
It was so much fun, Like, because also, like, at the end of the day,
it's good to get to know people. Yeah, just it's good to know, you know what I mean, like how everyone lives. It's always interesting.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're all just fucking around.
Exactly,
anyway,
that's what you realize. You know,
like no one.
Everybody just wants to get the shit done without hassle and problem and go the fuck home to their family.
And everyone wants to crack jokes and just have a good time and enjoy where they work and not feel like they have to walk on eggshells. Like,
I don't. I like a very respectable political environment.
It's Steve Cabot is what his name is. So yeah. All right, fans, time for a break in the action to bring back one of our new segments. This is What's Going Down in Gamertown with our good friend Dominic McGinley, a.k.a. the Dommy Llama. Llama, what's going down in Gamertown?
All right, so Matt, recently Ubisoft has announced Rocksmith Plus. It is a monthly subscription service that teaches you how to play guitar. This game features real-time feedback and provides suggestions based on how you play. Simply connect your guitar to the console for accurate note detection using the real tone cable. There are a variety of songs to choose from that continues to expand. And if you run into trouble with a part of a song, you can just use the riff repeater, a feature that allows you to control the speed of the song so you can learn at your own pace, a built-in tuner, and provides lessons on every guitar technique. And finally, provides a remarkable display of your fretboard with color-coded strings and numbered frets. This game is launching this summer for PC and will be available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, and sometime after that, it will be available on Android and iOS.
All right, that was another rousing segment of What's Going Down in Gamertown with our good friend Dominic McGinley, a.k.a. the Dommy Llama. Now, back to the show. So let's keep it moving. So you kind of, after this job, you've kind of branched into what you're doing now or what you did for a long time. And then we'll kind of branch into what you're doing now. So after this, you got a job at a home healthcare company. And what you were doing is you were scheduling nurses for in-home healthcare, right?
Yeah, very entertaining, man. Those of you guys that are listening that know the home healthcare world, myself growing up, man, never really saw a home health aide, a CNA or a nurse going to a house to work. Just never saw it. And then when I started working in that field, I had a good friend that worked for the company. Was sitting. Let's go to how I got there real quick. I was sitting around at a bar, smashed one day. Never forget it because I'll never remember it because I was so drunk. But told that good friend that day, yeah, man, I want to leave my job. I want to quit my job. Let me come over to where you're at. He needed some help. So this friend calls me like Tuesday, Wednesday that week and says, dude, where are you at? I go, I'm at work. What are you talking about? He's my boss is here, drove here from Jersey to interview you. Don't you remember? Well, I remember none of it. So I was pretty smashed that night. Missed the interview. Long story short, tell your boss, come over tomorrow. Tell him whatever you want to tell him that sounds good. So started working in home healthcare, man.
Nice.
And I loved it, man. Again, just people everywhere. Job first started as a scheduler, taking incoming calls, scheduling nurses, home health aides, and CNAs to go work their respective shifts. Always had holes and gaps. So when I would come in the morning, basically, if a case is filled, you just forget about it. It's the only open shifts that you care about. So basically, I'm calling people all day to schedule shifts. That's how it started.
Yeah.
A lot of experiences through there, man. Met a lot of different people again. Then moved into kind of segued into hiring nurses at that point. So now, they realized I could talk to people, and people like me, and I can relate a lot.
So real quick, I just want to bring this up. So you started as like kind of the entry level position of scheduling the nurses for the different home health care. Once again, you committed yourself to the job. You did the best job you can, and your higher ups recognized how you're a good people person. You're organized, you're committed, and you do a very good job. They then bumped you up to a leadership role, right, where you're now hiring the new nurses, and you would be training them as well. Is that right? Or part of?
No, they don't.
Okay.
They don't. You have clinical and non-clinical, right? Everything in the medical world, you got your clinical, and those are the people who have, nursing degrees, home health aides, CNAs that do the training of those. I just bring them in and hire them. Basically, my qualifying question was, do you have trach or vent experience, and can you work with adults or kids? And I kind of put them into a category based off that and hand them off to the nurse.
But look, that's you like getting like, this is what we need. This is the job that needs to be done. Bing, bang, boom.
Yep.
Give you a shot, do your thing. And I think the
we
higher
call triage, I believe, in the healthcare world. Triage.
Look at that. Big word, McCormick. Hey, real
big props to you, Pete, too. I love my male nurses. I think I mentioned that earlier, but man.
I'm not there yet, Tommy. I'm working towards there, but I'm not there yet.
Like we were saying, you were now, like, you started out scheduling, you were brought in then, and you moved up to hiring, and you would kind of set them up with either kids or adults and things like that, and like the different jobs they would need. So you're doing all that, and then you got a position in Charlotte, right? Is that when you started doing the hiring, was that in Charlotte, or did you go to Charlotte to do that?
No, so I still did that in PA. Our office was in Exton. We serve pretty much the surrounding counties.
Okay.
So kind of segued into operations, right, which is dealing with the money and dealing with all that stuff. So, hiring, scheduling, and then, let's deal with the numbers and collect the money from insurance companies so we can get paid. A lot of money in the home healthcare world. And got an email one day, man. I'll never forget it. Got an email in October that year, and it was for an opening for an executive director position because our company had acquired a smaller company in Charlotte, North Carolina. So never been to Charlotte myself, just kind of know where. Actually thought it was closer to the water. For those of you that don't know, Charlotte is on the western side of the state.
It's dead in the middle. It's
it's
a long state. It's a long state. It's like PA.
It ain't the beach. That's
even
all
longer. Yeah.
There's a lake about a half hour north of Charlotte. That's absolutely amazing.
Were you excited to go there and see Muggsy Bogues?
Muggsy Bogues? Oh,
that's
man.
The first person I want to see in Charlotte.
You know what's funny? Oh, this is going to bring this full circle. You know who the first person I saw in Charlotte was?
Who?
Allen Iverson.
How'd you know that? How the hell did you know that?
Really?
Because the last time I flew into Charlotte, Allen Iverson got pulled out of line and started getting patted down by security.
Yeah.
And I'm coming through security.
I can't believe you just said that, dude.
And I'm looking up, and I see this guy getting questioned by security, and I see the spider web tattoo on the neck. I'm like, is that fucking Allen Iverson?
Probably had a white tee and jeans on.
Yeah, and I'm grabbing my phone. I'm like, that's Allen Iverson getting questioned by security right now. And then I didn't make a big deal. I just told my wife, and I'm like, so he lives in Charlotte. That's how I know, is because I flew in there. And I saw security pull him out of line.
So the day, so speaking of Charlotte, Hickory Tavern, that's kind of, they're like PJs. That's like the Hickory Taverns are everywhere. So I landed in Charlotte. It's January 4th, taking a new job, executive director position, moved down there single, new job, nice pay, nice weather. Girls look a little different down south. People
they got the accent, bro.
So I was ready to go, man.
The Southern thing is terrible on dudes, fantastic on women.
Now, here's one thing that I don't think is true at all. Everybody that I would meet in Charlotte thought I was from Texas. I think when I drink, I talk a little slower. Nobody up here ever says it, ever. But in Charlotte, everyone's like, "Are you from Texas?" And I'm like, "What?"
Well, they probably thought.
Tommy, say water real quick. Just say it.
Water.
Yeah, you don't have the Philly water. You go all water.
It's W-A, not W-O-O-D.
Yeah, that's why they think.
U-T-E-R.
Right.
Water.
So, yeah, man, Charlotte's awesome for anybody that's never been down there. Great city, a lot of young working folk, kind of a transplant city, moved there for work, not from there. A lot of young 20s to mid 30s, man. A lot of small, cool neighborhoods with main streets with bars, breweries, distilleries everywhere, man. So it's a happy
North Carolina's got a lot of good stuff going on. A lot of good beers, a little bit of wineries.
That's all I need to know. How hot are the chicks?
Southern chicks.
Steve, they got Cabot and UN. They have Duke and UNC. What do you think's going on down there?
I don't know. Apparently, lacrosse players claiming they're like raping chicks and stuff. I don't know.
Okay, let's not bring that up. All right, Jesus.
Real quick. Duke and UNC, like you're talking. So 2 cool sporting events that were closely related to this. As soon as I moved down to Charlotte, the first one is Villanova versus North Carolina Tar Heels.
Great game.
Great game. Yep. So I'm at a party. Now, mind you, Steph Curry's from Charlotte. We're around the same age as Steph Curry, right? Grew up in Charlotte. Right. He's a legend. So here I am at a party with all these kids that played basketball with Steph Curry growing up their whole life. All North Carolina fans, right? I'm the only. Why am I a Villanova fan, right? Like, who's a Villanova fan? It's a small school, and you just, so these people, for the life of them, couldn't believe it, man. And Chris Jenkins hit that shot, man. That fucking place was dead silent, and I'm just up, loving it. I thought they were gonna. And they're nice down south, man. They were ready to have at me, man. I'll never forget it. But
that's great.
The other sport, man.
I just got to give Cabot this because he does the wrestling update, Cabot. And the head coach at UNC, Pride of Pennsylvania, Coleman Scott.
What you know about him, Pete?
That's right, Coleman Scott.
Hell yeah.
His hotel room was below us at States with Briley and everything. Him and
I remember that because I had the hotel room and you kept coming in, and then my mom wanted to kick everybody out when we were having the party. So.
And the other sporting event,
Thomas, I can't believe you were down there for that game. Like, talk about a wild game or spot to be during that game.
The other sporting event was the Super Bowl. Now, it was Carolina Panthers, right? So the Panthers Stadium is not that the Super Bowl was there. I think it was in Miami that year, but the Panthers were in the Super Bowl.
Jake Delhomme.
Yeah, Del Homie. He was there, man. I'll never forget it. Yeah, terrible. I was at the NFC Championship game.
No good, bro.
I know we all remember that one.
Yeah, that's the fucking West.
Tell me, when I think about Carolina, who was their running back? Was it Stephen Davis or
Steve Smith was the wide receiver, and then didn't they have D'Angelo Williams as well?
Masin Muhammad.
I think it was. They had some running back that Dawkins was like suplexing as he tried to punch the ball out and broke the guy's arm, and the guy was like 3 times as big as him.
Maybe a fullback. But anyway, our connection was they were playing the Broncos, and our connection was the Broncos kicker, who we all know went to the same high school as us. Yeah. So here I am in Charlotte. They're in the Super Bowl. McManus, who I think should have been the MVP of that Super Bowl, kicked 3 field goals over 50 yards.
Over 50.
Of course, they gave it to Peyton Manning because he's Peyton Manning, who didn't have a good game at all.
That old chestnut.
So here I am.
You know what? And Tommy, just not to step on you, but you know what? He didn't deserve his first Super Bowl MVP either. That belonged to Bob Sanders of Erie Cathedral Prep from Pennsylvania too.
That's right. Yeah. That whole playoffs belonged to Bob Sanders.
God, he was a beast, man. And then his career was cut short, man, with injuries, I think.
But when he was healthy, he was an animal.
He quietly, after that playoff run, was put in the same air. At that era, we had Ed Reed and Doc running around. Palomalu, all of a sudden, Bob Sanders was the name with them.
Yeah.
So there's my 2 Charlotte sporting events, man. Here goes me rooting for Villanova against North Carolina, right in their backyard. And then here goes me with a Denver Broncos kicker jersey on, mind you, rooting for Denver at a Super Bowl of all Charlotte.
That's great.
Now I'll be the first.
You can't even be like, oh no, I'm from Denver.
I'll be the first to tell you that I had no fear whatsoever at the football party. Those guys were not true football fans. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
The college basketball game, I was a little more in enemy territory, but
yeah, I could see that.
And then the day I landed, again, January 4th, I walk into a Hickory Tavern, kind of like the PJs down in Charlotte. I go to the bathroom. I order a beer, immediately ask for the bathroom because I have to use the bathroom. Here I am about to pop on my phone because I had yet to find an apartment. Here I am apartment hunting while I'm on my phone. And I look to my right, and I see a white T-shirt, a royal blue hat with a red brim, and baggy jeans. And I go like this. I look to the right, and I do a double take, and I just think to myself, no way, that's fucking Allen Iverson. So here he is standing within arm's reach of the table I'm at. So you just put my beer down. I'm like, hell yeah. So I go over, I go, AI, And like, I think he heard me, he just didn't look over at first. And then he looked over again and I said, AI. And he looked over and this is all he said. What's up, brother? I put my hand out to shake his at first to initiate it. So I shook his hand, literally just told him, yo, you're my favorite athlete ever. And I literally just moved here from Philly like an hour ago. Can't believe I just met you. He didn't really give a shit. He just kind of went over talking to his boys. That was it, man. But
yeah. I'm sure that happens to him quite often.
4 million times over again.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's the greatest.
You should have told him I've bought your shoes. He probably would appreciate that.
I did not try and say hi to him when he was pulled over by security in line. I just let him do his thing. And
could you imagine if you went over like, AI, real quick, I love you, pal.
Yeah. What's up, dog?
We saw him again once in the stint that I was down there. Me and a good friend of mine that was down there at a bar. We were the only, let's just say, not even males, just white gentlemen in that place to begin with. I'll never forget it.
That was one of those bars.
We were in a lot of bars like
Tommy,
that.
don't call yourself white. You're a little too tan to be white.
Yeah.
So we stuck out, right? And you stick out even more when you walk up to Allen Iverson and try to give him a pound and go, "What's up, man?" So more than
not
once,
trying to be inconspicuous, like, oh no, nothing just rolled up to the guy, you guy in the place.
He's like, this cracker's crazy. Look
to
at
kindly leave Allen Iverson alone. And then my buddy from across the bar is, doing his thing with the cell phone, got him on video, and of course, there's Iverson ducking behind, like not wanting to get on the camera, knowing we're filming him. So he sends one of the boys over that basically says, "I'm about to crush your phone. Stop filming."
Yeah,
and that was it.
Nice.
So
sucks that that's crazy that he's that famous that that's one of his buddy's jobs is, hey, I'm a cell phone crusher John, and if you keep filming, I'm gonna fucking crush your phone.
That's
so
right.
And I happen to make $500,000 a year crushing phones, so
yeah,
a lot of
ask me to do it.
Not a lack of celebrities down there, man. Charlotte, I'll tell you what. I met Clinton Portis down there. I actually went to. I met Randy Moss. Randy Moss hosted a CrossFit workout that anybody could show up for free on the football field. Him and some like CrossFit guru woman.
Fit with Randy Moss. You had done a bunch of different things with different celebrities in Charlotte, and you're having like a good time doing your thing, right? Mm-hmm. So then an incident occurs, another incident that would change your life forever. Are you cool to talk about this?
Yeah. This one was a little more eye-opening. I was a little bit older when this one happened for sure. I just turned 30 years old, man. So fast forward 12 years, another big event in my life.
Yeah. So
now you're mature, you're an adult, you've had some jobs, and you realize, holy shit, life can end.
So let's talk about this, Tom. So this is where we're going to take a turn here. I know we've been very jovial and having fun and, exploring the different flavors of ice cream like we do here on the show. But Tom is living down in Charlotte. He was the executive director gimmick. You would leave that position, and then you were working as doing like you were selling or you're building houses with.
Yeah, simultaneously, I had met a kid, man. This kid was 24 years old. Basically, grew up on construction sites, building houses. So I helped him out in addition to my other job at first, doing that, man. I loved it. We built 2 3,000 square foot houses, just me and 2 kids that were 6-7 years younger than me from the ground up, man. Basically touched every piece of wood in there, cut it or nailed it, man. So that was
incredible.
Cool.
So, okay. So you're doing this, you're building houses, you're living in Charlotte, you're enjoying your life down there. Mm-hmm. What happened? So you go out one night with these guys that you're working with, you're doing your thing. Right. And honestly, you're a very personable guy. You're easy to get along with. You're a good talker. You're friendly. You're funny. You like hanging out. You're doing your thing. So you weren't, I don't see it as you had trouble making friends in Charlotte and stuff like that. So you're doing your thing, hanging out and you're going out one night, you tie one on and you get into a car with someone who had been drinking. Is that right?
Yeah. So backtrack just a little bit. I was actually coming home a day. This was December 15th, that same year that I had moved there. So I've been in Charlotte just short of a year at this point.
Okay.
I was leaving in about 2 or 3 days to be with my family for 2 weeks for like Christmas, leading up to New Year's.
Yeah.
And to kind of segue into what you just said, I hopped in the passenger seat. I'll be the first to admit that, I've drank and drove myself. forget hundreds of times. I'll put it close to 1,000, to be honest, man.
Yeah.
Without getting caught, and everybody does anything they can and get away with whatever until you get caught. I think we mentioned this earlier with the vandalism and stuff like that. It's all fun until you get caught, right?
Yeah.
But very, very few times was I the passenger. It was always kind of me driving on my own merit, just kind of doing what I would want. So I'm in a passenger seat this time, man. Yeah. And we left the venue that we were at that night. We were actually out, I remember, at a place called Coyote Joe's, out country line dancing all night. First time in my life I've ever country line danced. Fun-ass night.
Fucking time went on with the old country kickers. All right.
That's right. So I was out there, deedly doing or whatever they call it. And let's just say that me and the two gentlemen I was with were politely asked to leave a little bit later.
Sure.
That old chestnut. Don't know exactly why we were politely asked to leave, but there was a little friction involved, I believe. So we hopped in the car. I'm in the passenger seat, and that's the last thing I remember. So we wake up in a hospital bed, man, which is only a couple hours later, about 2 a.m. My wrists are actually strapped down to the hospital bed, and I wake up to a doctor saying, "Hey, man, be careful. You broke your neck." Not only that, get ready. The nurse that's standing above you is about to put as many staples as it takes to, staple your head up because you got a little laceration on the top of your head. So scary stuff, man. So I actually ended up breaking 4 vertebrae in my neck. For anybody that knows, your neck is your first 7 vertebrae. So my 5th, 6th, and 7th vertebrae were broken, but what was actually the scariest thing was the C1 vertebrae. I know you guys know what, your spine looks like. They're kind of U-shaped, right? Each of your vertebrae.
Yep.
But your C1 is a ring, right? And it's connected to your skull. It's pretty delicate. They don't do surgery to your C1 because of where it's located. And your spinal column. Yeah, and your spinal column actually comes up through your C1 vertebrae into, our brain, our cerebral cortex or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
So, the C1 vertebrae, it's tough to break a ring in one spot. So it kind of cracked in the front and the back and it closed a little bit. Now, me not knowing any of this, sees an x-ray the next day with a doctor saying, "Hey, Tom, this is, your x-rays. This is what your neck looks like right now."
Yeah.
You're basically, forget a quarter inch, you're closer to a quarter centimeter away from what we called, decapitated without losing your head.
Oh my God.
So yeah, man, still have the x-ray pictures, still look at it every couple of years, just because, but yeah, man, scary stuff. Right. So here I am, all these thoughts are going through my head as wasn't many staples. She put about 11 staples in my head.
Oh yeah. That's not a lot. Just 11 fucking staples in your head.
Tommy, you're in North Carolina when this is happening.
Yeah, I'm in Charlotte. I'm by myself.
So you're not near your family. Okay.
No, my friend that I was actually down there with at the time in North Carolina is not with me. I went out with 2 coworkers, so he has no idea what happens. My phone dies that night, so no family, no friends, know where I'm at, no nothing. So here I am, right, just coming out of working in home healthcare, right? We had a lot of clients discharged from bad car accidents in the home healthcare world that are jacked up for later in life, whether it's a wheelchair, whether it's, just whatever, man. You name it, the spine is nothing to mess with. So the doctor pretty much gave me 2 choices the next day. And there's a movie that ties into this too that I'd watched about 2 weeks before my accident. Doctor basically said, "Tom, you got 2 choices. Option number 1 is either you get surgery. Option number 2 is you don't." And then real quick, kind of graphic, but anytime you get surgery, they explain to you what they're going to do. So, he goes, "Hey man, first we're going to cut a little 2-inch incision in your neck, right to the left side because your stuff's cracked on the left more than the right. We're going to move a bunch of your main veins and arteries to the side. Hey Tom, if we hit one of them, you're going to die. Don't worry, we're not going to hit one of them." Right. He goes, "Your voice box is behind those main veins and arteries. We're going to pull that thing out, move it over a little bit." He's like, "Hey man, there's a chance your voice could change forever," which it didn't, but there's a chance. And then he goes, "We're going to come in through the front and do the surgery. If we can't get the surgery done from coming into the front, we're going to give you more drugs, flip you over, and come in through the back." So I was like, "Fuck, doc, like that's not real cool. What's option B?" And he's like, "Option B is you don't get surgery. You get the little metal halo put on you. If you ever seen that, looks like you're wearing all those shoulder pads, little metal rods sticking up with the halo." And there's actually a movie. Forget the name of it, man. I think it's called it's a boxing movie.
Bleed for This.
Yes.
Bam. I was going to say There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
the
least for this-
Tasmanian devil.
Yeah,
Or
so-
Tasmanian.
Yeah, Vinny
Paz, yeah.
Paziani was
Yeah.
a middleweight boxer. I think it was the late 80s.
Yeah.
And left I think was it a championship fight or not? But anyway, left the fight and got into a car accident that night and broke his neck, broke 2 of his vertebrae. I remember watching the movie, and I literally remember the scene of him saying, "Doc, you ain't cutting me open. You're not cutting my effing neck open."
Yeah.
So what do you think I said to the doctor who just gave me
You're a
option A,
fellow
option B?
greaseball Italian spaghetti
Yeah.
bender. He's not cutting you open.
So option A was more surgery and a 4 to 6 month recovery. Option B was no surgery, more like a 10 to 12 month recovery. Even though it's longer, I chose option B. I didn't want to get cut open, right?
No. All the complications that could have occurred with that surgery as well. It's like, fuck off, Come on.
Well, and just to give the people, like kind of like perspective too, is like, Tom, obviously you're here, you're talking with us, and the Tasmanian devil made his, but like the thing is like, you're a guy that's been in impeccable shape your entire life, right? It's sports and everything. Same thing with that guy. Like, if you have this injury and you're not in the best shape, you know what I mean? Like, it could be game over. You know what I mean? Like that's where you kind of like realize it's like, Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary stuff, man. But try not to think about that too much. Pretty positive, regardless of kind of the situation.
Yeah.
And
but just passing the information forward to the young and people just listening. Just how dangerous this stuff can be.
Yeah, man, you're 1,000% right, Pete. And even a step farther than the physical, even if you're not in good shape, man, there's a lot of stuff you can't do, if that happens. And me working, like I said, in home healthcare, witnessed that, saw people that, got in an accident on a crotch rocket motorcycle and is in a wheelchair for life. Watched the kid do a backflip into shallow water, who's a supreme athlete.
Oh, yeah.
Paralyzed from the waist down from that.
So many things. Yeah.
So scary stuff, man. But for me, the physical was okay. Count my lucky stars. I'm not the most religious, but thank God, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And
Good for you.
For me, it was harder than mental, getting over the mental part. Honestly, man.
Yeah.
But let's kind of fast forward here, right? So, Doc, give me option B. I don't want surgery. You ain't effing cutting my neck open, right?
Yeah.
So, before they ever release you from the hospital, they got to do tests to make sure you're healthy enough to go home, right? X-rays, whatever. So I'm getting sized for my little metal strap-on head job, whatever. And, they do an x-ray and the doctor basically says, Tom, sorry to tell you this, man, but you're not going home, which my brother had driven from PA to Charlotte the next day to, drive me back home because somebody had to get me home. Yeah. He goes, hey, man, the main vein along your spine is bleeding pretty bad. If that thing clots, you die. Jeez. So we have to do surgery immediately. Get ready. We're going to go in and fix that. Oh, and we're going to fuse your neck together like I explained while we're in there.
Oh, fuck off.
So here I am. I'm like,
so you didn't get the option.
No. I had to get surgery. And, you go with doctor's orders, right? Especially when he's telling you it's light threatening.
And the good thing about being in North Carolina is the UNC health system is like top of the line. Like it's a university hospital system that goes throughout the entire state, kind of like California and New York. Some of these states have like a whole thing where the universities and the hospitals are all integrated, and it's a big system. So when you're going somewhere, you're getting quality health care. Not every state's like that. But North Carolina is a great state like that.
Yeah, Pete, 100% on, man. Just like in where we live, man. If you go up to Lehigh Valley, you got every other street corner. You got St. Luke's, pretty much. In Philly, we know what's there.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Levine Hospital, right in the center city of Charlotte, man. That's where I was taken. That's who took care of me, man. So.
Nice. So you get how many years ago did this occur? Was this 2018?
This is this December. It'll be 5 years. So we're going on about 4.5 years right now. I'm removed.
So 4.5 years that this occurred. Mm-hmm. The incident occurred. You had the surgery. You had the recovery, right? So you're in recovery for 7 months. After you're done the recovery for 7 months, I'll tell you this, and we had this on a couple weeks ago when we had Mr. Bowers on the show, and we talked about this. There's people that will use these types of scenarios as an excuse not to do something. They're like, no, I'm going to sit around. I'm not, I'm going to recover. I'm going to be lazy. I'm not going to do whatever. And there's people that are like, I'm getting back to my life. I'm not going to be like constricted by this situation and by this scenario and by this accident. I'm not going to be held back by this. I'm determined to get back to my life. And for you, it was very much that scenario. You fought through the 7 months of recovery, which this type of recovery is some of the worst that it gets. You know what I mean? You're coming from an ultra scary surgery, ultra scary procedure. You do the recovery. You're coming back. then you get a job that you're doing now where you're selling life insurance. Is that right?
Yep, exactly.
So can you tell me, like, during the recovery and things like that, you do the recovery and you go to the life insurance. What was kind of your motivation during your recovery and then your motivation to get a job selling life insurance?
Yeah. Good question, man. Kind of like you said, you can go one of two ways, right? And just to me, there's a phrase that just sticks in my mind since I was a little kid. I don't know where I heard it, but a body in motion stays in motion and a body at rest stays at rest, right? So just keep it moving, man, and everything will keep moving.
Keep it moving.
Yep. So, like you said, I had a neck brace on for about 4 months, a little bit of rehab after that.
And you were still getting chicks with a neck brace, you son of a bitch.
It was a little easier at that point.
Little sympathy action,
baby. He just always had a marker ready. He's like, why don't you just sign over here?
You walk into a bar on crutches, man. You can sit next to any chick you want. But no, so yeah, man, kind of segued into where I'm at now. Honestly, didn't ever really have a dream job or this is what I want to do. Just didn't, man. Like most, probably wanted to be a pro athlete when I was a kid.
Sure.
But that didn't
Tommy, I think most people, I'm with you. Like we're all like it's not that you have a dream job. You just kind of want a job where you have people that you like working with and you make good money. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of, this is what helps me be what I want to be.
Yeah, man. So that led me to where I'm at now. I was actually online, believe it or not, on Craigslist, and applied for 4 jobs. Yeah, the job I found was on there. The other 3 weren't. But long story short, went on 3 interviews. I got accepted to all 3 jobs, and chose the job I'm at now, man.
Look at you. Your interviewing skills must be fucking top notch, fucking chat tapper.
Yeah, so people are the world, man. I feel like most jobs I had leading up to this, just dealing with all different people, ages, ethnicities, races.
You would have been a good bartender too, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, one thing I always wanted to do that I didn't, man, honestly. Nights and weekends, never wanted to work those. But oddly enough, the job I have now is all nights and weekends.
Nice. So you're selling. So right now then, what you're doing, and do you have a link for your stuff, like a social media link or a website or anything?
Yeah, you know what? I have a Twitter that is, I'm not the biggest on social media and all.
Do you have like a business card?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have on your promo poster, we'll have your business card, and then we'll have your business details in the description of this episode. So let's kick it back. So like we were saying, right now you're selling life insurance, right? Mm-hmm. And for all those listening, we will have Tommy's contact information in the description of this episode, as well as his business card and his promo poster. So if you want to contact Tommy to get some life insurance, his information will be in the description of this episode. So feel free to contact him. Tell him that the boys from the Working Perspectives podcast sent you. So, either way, so you're doing life insurance now. So kind of, this is a very unique niche kind of thing. So kind of explain to us how it works, and then we'll finish up, and I'll let you get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So to answer I don't think I answered the one question yet. You asked kind of how I got there. So that was it. So went on an interview, but I got accepted to a couple positions. This was the only job that's 100% commission. There's no pay if you don't produce. Yeah. So took that over, 2 other decent salaries.
Yeah. You bet on yourself.
Yeah. Which, for most people that do bet on themselves, realize in the end, you're probably going to win. As long as you put the work in, man.
Yeah.
So that was it, man. I started there, but the reason I really started there was, just knowing, hearing people that sold life insurance when I was younger, not much, but few and far between, pretty well off later in life. But the gentleman that stood in front of me one day on my interview there said he made about $40,000 a month in renewals, which is a paycheck on the 15th of every month for the work that he's put in over his career. Every single month, in addition to what he still gets paid on a weekly basis.
Is this like the Wolf of Wall Street where Jonah Hill meets? He's like, "Hey, you show me a check for $40,000. I quit my job right now, and I work for you."
Hell yeah! Except that was $7,000, if you remember.
Yeah,
$7,000. Love that movie, man. But so yeah, man, I thought to myself, if I can be half as good as this guy, a quarter as good as this guy, I'll be sitting pretty, man.
Dude, I'd be good with like fucking a nickel's worth of this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I remembered I didn't want to harp on, but just the idea that you found this job on Craigslist is kind of like cool and crazy. Just like some people just look at certain places, but it's like you always have to be looking. You always have to keep your eyes open. Like, where is it at? Because like, would you ever thought you would have found this job on Craigslist? You know, but like,
no, not at all, man. But you know, that's most things to me, at least in my life, it's kind of finding value in something that you don't think's there to begin with, man.
Just always looking for the diamond. Always looking for that diamond in the rough.
Yeah, and this is to be said. You're not afraid to look for things as well. You're not afraid to look. You're not afraid to try. You're not afraid to go out of your comfort zone. But also, you're not afraid to bet on yourself, and that's the big thing, right? Yeah, you know what you're worth, and you're worth good stock, and you do good work. You know what I mean? And you should be proud of that. And that's been kind of the theme of this whole interview is the work that you do is good work, and you know what you're worth, and you know what you can get, and you bet on yourself, and you should be very proud of that, man, because not a lot of people have the courage to do that, and you do.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. To add to that, man, the fear of failure is a big thing too that drives a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So that to me is once I started working here, on 100% commission, I didn't want to fail. So that's kind of my driving force the whole way, still to this day, to be honest.
Fear can be a good thing, It can be a motivating thing.
So my company, man, I like to think that, everything I've had in the past kind of prepared me for this. But, backtrack to my previous job working in home healthcare was the first job where I actually got satisfaction out of helping somebody. Nice. You're not punching a clock. You're not waiting to go home. Yeah. You're actually helping someone, right?
Yeah.
So that was my last.
What you're doing.
Yeah, man. So this job does the same thing, man. Gives me the opportunity to meet, different people every day, help them out, kind of break down their situation. And it's pretty interesting what people that you don't know that well, what they'll tell you versus people that are close to them, their best friends, their relatives, man. So my job is really, we work with, blue collar America. It really starts with unions, middle to low income families, working families, man.
Yeah.
On somebody's worst day, when someone passes away, there's a financial side to that, man, that a lot of people don't know.
There's a mortgage that has to be paid. There are bills that there's kids that have to go to school. Exactly.
Yeah. So, been to a couple of funerals growing up myself never had to financially deal with that side of it, but saw what it has done to families over the years when people pass away. One of two ways, it's either there's money there to help take care of things or there's not. Helping people is kind of at the heart of it. So go ahead.
Well,
man.
Tommy, I know I need life insurance, so I'm going to be giving you a call after the show. Yeah,
I know a lot.
We
of
all need it, man. Everybody needs it.
Yeah.
So,
and if you have it through work, don't think you have it because you lose that. You switch jobs, retire, and move away.
Yeah.
And don't wait because the older you get, the more it costs. At some point, you may not qualify. You come down.
And even for work, it's just that 1 year salary. You want that good, this is my wife doesn't have to worry about the mortgage, and my kids don't have to worry about school. Take care of them.
Yeah. How does life insurance work for those people listening? What is it? What are you insuring? I know you're insuring life, but so
most of it's a death benefit, right? Everybody thinks of life insurance. Once you pass away, there's money there for your family to bury you, and whatever's left over, goes to family or whoever you want it to go to. There's a couple living benefits as well. I also have a health and accident license. So some of that stuff, we could sell cancer policies. If somebody, maybe you're hereditary in your family, you have cancer, for a small fee, you can take out a cancer policy. If you ever get diagnosed, it's not like you have to pass away, but there's a payout for different cancer policies. So, it's not always just passing away, but.
And Tommy, do you also do I know there's also sometimes you can reverse it into an annuity where it's almost okay, I had this in case, but you can kind of turn it into a retirement benefit. And a lot of people don't know that because that's what kind of makes it oh, why wouldn't I get this when I realize it's multifaceted? If I get hurt or die, my family has it, and even if I don't, I can turn it into another asset, for my retirement.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into specific details of different policies, but basically there's some policies that build cash value that you can play with later in life, and some policies that don't. A lot of I think Pete, I know what you're talking about is different policies tied into stocks and investments a lot. My company and myself aren't really geared towards that. We're more the middle low income, but no, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of different vehicles that you can use, and there's living benefits to life insurance, not just once you pass, man.
Nice.
But just something for people that listen, think about if you don't have it, look into it. It's a good tool to have to protect your family and yourself and your future.
Now, what I real quick, I'll kind of run through this. What I actually do on a daily basis. So, this didn't bring me in at all, but a lot of people are brought into my company through the phrase of no cold calling, no door knocking, no cold calling. I didn't know that people were scared of that. I just thought it was what you do, right? So, immediately I would now let's kind of backtrack a little bit. So let's do before I got into management and training agents. Here I go. I got my leads. I call a couple of my union members with my manager. I go out with him. We sell a couple policies. We don't sell a couple policies, but here I'm learning the ropes and all. Now, very interesting, man. Never a dull moment. The hours we're out working are kind of between 2 and 10 p.m. because, hey, man, in most sales industries, you have to be available when other people are. And most people are working during the day, man. So our day kind of starts 2, 3 p.m. Never a dull moment, man. I would, run territory as far as Southern Delaware. Our company is the whole state of Delaware. Oh, wow. Philly, I would run the concrete jungle, just all day, every day, man. As far up as like the Poconos, man. So just imagine driving, Delaware to Philly and up to the Poconos for work. Now it's totally changed the ball game, man. With the COVID, our company is still doing the same thing, but we do it on Zoom now, man. So believe it or not, Zoom has been a blessing in disguise for our company. Yeah. Can now run more appointments in a day without
and people
driving.
Aren't like kind of nervous about it. Like they're more open. I agree. This digital platform has been like makes everything like it is more eye opening.
Yeah, right. My company's actually had record growth for the last 14 consecutive months.
All right.
We actually had a little bit of a hiccup in March when the pandemic started, but April all the way through May of this year. 14 straight months of record growth for my company.
Dude, that's great.
Nothing will make you think about your own vulnerability more than a pandemic and how to take care of your family.
Yeah, man. So I started, just selling myself, just running all over Philly, selling policies, getting referrals so I could see people's friends and family. And didn't really realize how good of a job I was doing versus some of my peers. I just kind of thought it was, it's what I do, man. Just put your head down and work.
That's what they make charts for, Tommy, to highlight your success.
Well, that's kind of the end game of my job is let's, work hard now and not play much. So later in life, we can work a lot less and play more.
Dude, that's the name of the game, man.
Tommy, is the insurance game, it's big on residual income?
That's it. That's,
that's the name of the game.
You sell
a
car,
your
how many
fucking
times?
words, Pete, with your fucking residual,
fuck
you fucking
Pete,
big words.
Pete.
I'm fucking.
You sell a
I'm
car,
sorry,
how many?
I'm the account in the group.
You sell a car, how many times you get paid?
Yeah, once.
Yeah, I sell a policy. I get paid up front a nice. It depends on the size, but then once those people pay into their 13th month, you get a small check every month there.
But if you fix the cars, they keep coming back.
That's right.
All right, so nice.
But just to kind of wrap up, what I do now, man. Yeah. Again, the satisfaction of helping other people. Never a dull moment, man. Meet 3 to 5 strangers every day of my life and have real conversations with them. And then a couple months into my job, moved into management. So now I train new agents.
Again,
got a team of people, man.
Nice.
It doesn't matter what age, what race, what religion, man. Everybody has a need for what we do.
Yeah.
You see a list of like top salespeople in my company, and they don't even look like they're. I'm not going to say from this country, but you know what I mean. It just looks like you're looking at like
it's a smorgasbord.
You got it, man.
Yeah. No, but that's a beautiful thing.
If you think you could sell some insurance and you want a man who just proved how many times he's earned his management lead, email Thomas and he will train you to make some money if you think you can talk to people and maybe slang some insurance policies.
Yeah. And his contact information will be available in the description of this episode. Yeah.
Don't be scared to bet on yourself, man.
Agree. Yeah. Great advice.
And a lot of trips, man. My company's big on trips. Every year there's an all-inclusive trip. Last year we did Vegas. It was pretty cool. They rented out 3 floors on Caesars.
I just got my wife into all-inclusives. Like she was kind of skeptical, and we did Cancun in September.
Nothing better.
And then our friends got married again in Cancun, like in October or in April, and it was just.
Dude, it's the
all-inclusive is tough to beat.
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest. I'm not the biggest music fan, but I guess 2 of the biggest DJs in the world. They had Tiesto. What's it? Right, Tiesto.
Yeah,
is his name. And Calvin Harris. We rented out a club and they performed, and it was just our company, so it was pretty cool.
Oh, fuck yeah, man, dude, that's awesome.
I heard they had DJ Stubby Stubbins down there.
That's right. Getting dirty.
DJ Swag Game Stubies.
All right. He's a performer.
Yeah, but to bring, honestly, man, my job full circle, it's, never thought I'd be here. Very lucrative. And it's just people, man. It's just talking to people. Never saw myself selling anything. I actually thought people that did sales, kind of had the more used car salesman stigma my whole life.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you're good at it, because you're not a
grease ball, Steven,
You're selling a product people want and a product that people need.
Yep.
And you're not a thief. You're providing a service, and that's an important service, because it's one of those things like you don't want to be caught needing it and not having it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Yeah. So you're giving people peace of mind as well.
Yeah, man.
The term I like to use for Tommy is grinder. Like, you look over his job career, and he just
your
grinds.
favorite app.
I was about to say, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Pete's favorite website.
Pete's favorite app.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, Steve, it's an app.
That could also be my nickname, Pete.
Yeah, Grandpa. Yeah.
Wait, there's a difference?
Yeah. All right. So wait. So yeah, Grinder, Tommy Grinder Romeo, aka Tommy Grinds, aka Tommy Plugs.
Tommy Plugs.
All right.
Get your shine box.
Get your fucking shine box. Love it. All right. So we're coming to the top of time here, man. I'll tell you what, Tommy, like, we were expecting big things from this, and you fucking delivered. This was a great fucking episode. A lot of great information, a lot of great stories. And me and Pete and Steve are usually on the same page with this, but we would love for you to come back on sometime if you'd be willing.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it.
So we're going to take off soon. So before we take off, Tommy, anything you want to say to the dozens and dozens of Working Perspectives podcast listeners?
Get your shine box ready.
Your fucking shine box. Go get your fucking shine box.
Yeah, nothing too extra, man. Just that's it, man. That's
hey,
what life's
bet
all
on
about,
yourself,
man.
right? Bet on yourself. That's
bet
it.
on yourself.
Tommy Romeo story. Bet on yourself. Love it. Schwap game. N-Dub's favorite son, Schwap game Steve. What do you got to say to the peeps?
Fuck these three and listen to me, kids, when I say sometimes you gotta get in trouble to live.
Yeah. Have a little
where the good shit happens, man. When you have the adrenaline rush, man, that's where the good shit in life happens. Whether it's being a kid before school, fucking shit up,
If you're under 12, vandalism is acceptable.
That's not the opinion of the entire Working Perspectives podcast. No, I agree. Have some fun. So, Prince of Partying, Party Boy Pete, what do you got to say to the people before we get out of here?
As always, I love to support the trades. I like that came up. And then also just looking back at Tommy, finding this job on Craigslist, turn over every rock. Just keep looking and looking and looking. You never know where you're going to find that job that you like or the job that pays you well. So Craigslist, Facebook, whatever it is, just keep looking.
Beautiful.
Don't stop.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right. So this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by Party Boy Pete McCormick, Schwap Game Steve Cabot, and our guest today was the indomitable Tommy Romeo. You can find all our episodes and all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can join us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. Hang out with us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please feel free to email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. Do you have a message or a story inside of you that you've been waiting to tell? Have you always dreamed of writing a book but are intimidated by the complexities of the book publishing world? Perhaps you want to use a book to launch your public speaking or consulting career. If so, please reach out to Scott and Bell Publishing, located right here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Scott and Bell Publishing handle all genres and authors with all experience levels. Scott and Bell Publishing gives authors 100% creative freedom and a higher royalty split. They can be found at www.skotbell.com. That's www.S as in Sam, K as in Kite, O as in October, T as in Tom, B as in Boy, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, L as in Larry.com. That's Scott and Bell Publishing, where the authors go.